It's gone to full forward. Darryl Wakeland picking him up. Well, a little bit of aggro out there already. Heatley in a show of strength with Croft, or Curley it was. So the game underway. West tries to go off the ground. It's a foot race out there. Trianides, Hudson, a little give. Chance for the Bullies. Winmar in short. Cook takes the mark.
Yeah, he's called the mark. What's interesting here is their forward line set up for the Bulldogs this week. Totally different. They've got three big options now up there with Darcy, Cook and also Grant, which is a little bit similar to what St Kilda have here with Hull, Heatley and Lowe.
Looks like Damien Ryan may have started on Luke Darcy.
Cook being recalled to the side. Had a great match in the reserves last week. I think we could say enigmatic. They try to sort themselves. Harvey, a little bit of a fitness cloud. Let's hope he's okay. The Saints will certainly need him. Cook for first score of the day, 50 metres out. Gives it plenty of air. It'll land in the square. Big pack of players. Punches clear. Garlick pounces on top of it. Could be almost pinged for holding the footy. But no, according to the umpire, it's going to be a ball up some 15 metres out from goal. And the Saints interchange. Richard.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. We've got Tony Brown, Austin Jones, Matthew Carr and Ben Walton.
Thanks for that. Ellis over the top. Fumble by Garlick. And the Saints will rush it through for one behind. The first score of the day. A rush behind.
I see, Peter, during the week there was a lot of talk about young Ryan picking up Nicky Winmar, but it looks like he's going to tag Nathan Brown.
Well, the kick in was from Peckett, and he's put it on the chest of Hudson. And I think we'll now see the value of Paul Hudson in this area of the ground, 40, 45 metres, where he doesn't really have any question whatsoever about kicking the distance. His efficiency is just quite fantastic. The Bulldogs have kicked a behind, a rush behind, that is. So Hudson going for the first goal of the game. And he's got it. First blood to the Bullies. A goal to Paul Hudson. And he really does have a terrific goal-kicking average per game for what the team he used to play with, Hawthorn, and of course his present side, the Western Bulldogs.
And what a great period, 15 minutes he had last week when he kicked 3 goals in a row to keep them in the game. And today, well, it's the sort of start that he's really looking for after having such a slow start last week.
Well, he was giving us sports reports on Channel 7 News last year. Tim Watson now in the coach's box. Very much a hot seat for St Kilda. Scotty wind up early. Garlick to break away. He's still got the footy. Careful. Nearly be penalised. It's underneath there somewhere. The umpire gives Simon Garlick the benefit of the doubt. The football rested away by Harvey.
And the umpire will ball it up. I thought there too, just the same.
Might have been a bit stiff, but the umpire quite prepared to allow play to go on there.
So another bounce just wide of the centre circle. It's only been moved a couple of spots. Elliott from behind, wind in front. Quick kick away comes from Powell. He'll be keen to do well today, Powell. He's played more than 70 games in the reserves. Gee, that's something out of a volleyball match, that hand pass. What would you call that, Jim?
Yeah, it looked a little bit like Gaelic football, but yeah, he could have been pinged there for throwing the ball. This has really started well. Both teams are really going in hard, a little bit like last week's game, but both teams are really looking for a win here.
Gee, if you can get the footy out of there, you'll be doing well. There's about 30 players around the pill. Thompson, kick up in the air. Brown showed courage there, takes the mark. Not the greatest of hand passes intended for Marnie off the ground. Now Croft. This way, that way, looks for Winmar. Will he get booed? No, he did, well, a little bit. He can handle that. Oh, Elliott, good grab.
This Timmy Elliott, he had a terrific game last week, and he's really stepped up to fill the shoes of Peter Everett.
Francis out wide, one-on-one contest. Cook in the front. Hudson, he'll try to flip it out to him, does so. It was legal according to the umpire. Not a bad kick. Darcy, oh, Wakeland, good grab. Gets it to Stewie Lowe. Oh, he's kicked it like a bag of wheat. So a chance again for Brown. Onto the left, hooks it back. Darcy at the back. No, can't complete the mark. Plenty of St Kilda players around there. Low onto Hudson. They should clear this. They do. Zilla gets the hand pass away and taking it away is Hudson again.
And Hudson beckoning for his teammate to try and create a loose man situation. That was Pickett. Pickett's handball, a little sloppy. Barry Hall. Now Zilla. Zilla out wide. The Saints are a chance here. This is McLaren. He's outside 50. McLaren's kick for goal. Won't get the distance. Well marked by Johnson. Johnson plays on. Comes to the members' side of the ground here at Waverley. 3 bounces. 4 bounces. Being reasonably well protected. Then the short kick. Lands the ball close to the wing, but the Saints are there to mop up. Robert Harvey. He looks okay to me. Moving quite nicely. Gets the ball to Pickett. Pickett running through the centre of the ground. Kicks it long. A bit of a mongrel punt kick in the finish, but wasn't that well done. Nicky Winmar. Very skillfully done away from Zilla. Gets the handball to Grant, and Grant's kick finds Southern.
Chris Grant starting in defence. Daniel Southern, left centre wing. Ellis and Wakeland. Wakeland gets back quickly to chop it off. High, according to the umpire, was the tackle. So the kick taken by Francis. Kicks it up to Stewie Lowe, making his presence felt early in the game. On to Zilla at right centre wing. No one on the mark. Winmar late. Across the centre half forward. Huge pack of players. None can bring it down. Ball spiked away. Chance for Brown to clear. West is there as well. Now Burke goes at goal. Misses everything. Ball lands in the forward pocket. Out of bounds in the left forward pocket for St Kilda. The Saints yet to score early in the first quarter.
A couple of things of interest here is that Stewie Lowe seems to be playing down the back line a little bit. Also Chris Grant for the Bulldogs is going down to their back line. So obviously maybe both coaches trying to get their big players into the game early.
Fair comment. Thompson. Harvey. Let's see how he moves here. He moves okay. Chance for Mitchell. Snaps. Misses everything again. Out of bounds on the full. Free kick to the Bullies. And the free kick will be taken by the opposite, number 11 in Todd Curley.
Now Robert Harvey's looks like he's been picked up by Scott West. Now I would like to see West doing his own thing and maybe getting a free run, but obviously they've gone with a tagging role, and already Harvey's picked up 2 or 3 possessions.
So Curley from the left back pocket gets the Bulldogs out of danger. Terrible kick. Field kicking last night at the MCG early on wasn't good, and the free kick here to be taken by Elliott.
Yes, well, he's a long way from goal, Tim Elliott. He goes in short into the pocket. Winmar taken to the ground. Might get a free kick, Nicky Winmar. Umpire now has called play on. The advantage is with the Bulldogs. Johnson gets it away to Leon Cameron. He uses the ball pretty well under normal circumstances. That ball bouncing in front of Tim Elliott and over for a throw-in. Just forward of centre wing on the outer side. As Peter has already mentioned, a pretty good crowd. Threatening ordinary weather.
Beautiful weather, Robert.
Hopefully it'll stay dry. Thompson dispossessed. Now Winmar again. Harvey prepared to allow him to run and collect the footy. He's kicking towards half forward. Wakeland tackled by Ellis. Good pressure provided there by Craig Ellis. Wakeland to Francis. Francis quickly down the ground, but the mark, a diving mark taken by Grant, and I'm sure he'll be a determined man to improve over his first 3 weeks' form.
We saw him in defence a few minutes back. Elliott again, getting plenty of the footy as well. Runs around Darcy, and then he runs out of bounds. Okay, according to the umpire, relays it to Thompson. Kicks over the head of Garlick. That's close to the boundary line as well. Saints through Zilla. McLaren. Missed it. Heatley lends his weight to the situation.
He dropped an easy mark there. I thought he should have taken that.
Before. Free kick going the Bulldogs' way. Left half back. Goal's hard to come by at the moment. That might go out of bounds. Marnie just can't get there.
I think it has. Elliott seems to be getting a lot of possession here, which I think Wind is going to have to pick him up a lot tighter. And obviously Grant is free, which means they're playing a different sort of game this week.
Snapped by Francis. Heatley, yes, good use of the body, too strong.
Peter, if we get a minute, I'd like Jimmy to elaborate on the way the ruckmen are playing this modern game of football. Go on, Jimmy, go.
Yeah, just on this here, I thought Heatley could nearly have given away a free kick there. He slapped Nicky Winmar on the face. Right in front of the umpire, so he's pretty lucky, but Heatley's another player that's under a lot of pressure. Didn't play very well last week. So obviously this will be good for his confidence, taking a mark early, and should kick this goal. But on the ruck play, definitely, we've got, they're playing a different style of football, the Bulldogs today, and particularly with Wynn starting on the ball and Grant playing as a free man.
So Heatley, distance won't be a problem, 30 metres out, kicks well and puts it through. Still a bit happening out there.
Gee, you'd like to be in the dark lane coming the opposite direction to Barry Hall and Danny Southern, wouldn't you, Pete? They're playing on each other at the moment.
That would be a nice little...
to do?
Yeah. Love to be a fly on the top of one of those craniums, wouldn't you?
It's good mark.
He did well, yes. He just got Curly out of the road with a little bit more strength in his bodywork.
Suited up after that.
So back at the centre, St Kilda have kicked their first goal. We're about 8 minutes into the first quarter. Thompson, Scotty West just intercepting there from Harvey. Quick kick by Garlick, slips off the side of his boot. Out in front of Ellis, taken by Peckett. Peckett's kick, pretty good. Francis already a couple of possessions now to Tony Francis. That's kick number 5. Attempting to run onto it there was Harvey. Brilliantly gathered by Smith to Johnson. Into the middle, get rid of it quickly, he does. Powell, missed Garlick, Thompson, footy pretty hot. Bully's making it that way in the middle of the ground. Eventually comes to Brown. Brown's kick, good vision, and executed the pass very nicely to Johnson. Away to West. West into the pocket, it carries Cook. Punched away. Chance here, they both, just a bit of misunderstanding maybe there between Winmar and James Cook as Cook slipped. Winmar thought he was about to gather the ball.
I'll tell you, we've got a really tough game in our hands here. I'm just watching Danny Sutton. He mightn't have got the ball yet, but gee, he's cleaned up a few players. He took Harvey out with a beautiful shepherd and bump. And really, it's on here today, boys.
Wine and Elliott. Wine might get a free kick here. He will.
Silly free kick there from Tim Elliott. Just when you're playing in the rock, you just can't give away those sort of free kicks.
92 Brownlow medalist, too far out to score certainly, knows that, goes in short, puts it into the pocket, Cook on a lead, can't take it. Wakeland, now there's a whistle here, he got one, it was a late call.
That is unbelievable. He nearly called play on, and he waited to see Cook holding his head, and then 3 or 4 seconds later he's called a free kick.
Actually, you could have gone out and got a beer and come back, and then he paid the free kick.
We'll see it here again. The ball's definitely hit the ground.
Correct call though, Jimmy, wasn't it?
I think it was. Well, I think he tried to spoil, and there's no problem there, Ian.
No, I wouldn't think so, Jim. I mean, they're playing a big man's game, and I just wonder if you give free kicks like that, you have to show consistency and give them all day. So we'll watch with interest.
True.
Now Cook will be kicking. This is for his 100th goal in his career. This one.
James Cook, 45 metres out, about a 60-degree angle, misses to the right-hand side.
Well, that will keep him on 99.
Jimmy, early in the game we were speaking about off-air the way certain teams come in the forward line. It'd be interesting to see what you think of that with James Cook leading directly into the forward pocket. Fairly tough angle from there.
Yeah, and just from watching him last year as well, he does that a lot. And I think he backs himself to kick it from the pockets.
Well, he didn't even register a score by the look of that. Damien Ryan takes the kick, which came from Matthew Young. Good mark taken by Heatley in front of Todd Curley. Looking to give the hand pass away. Mitchell caught with the footy right in the middle of Waverley. Heatley does well. He recovers his position. Knocked away. Down towards Zilla. Zilla goes towards goal. Back goes Southern. The bouncing ball. Danny Southern. Has he hand passed that into the behind post?
Yep, I think he did.
So not even prepared there to concede a behind. It will be a boundary throw in left forward pocket for St Kilda.
I reckon the Saints might need to make a move with Curley on Heatley. I think Heatley's just getting on top of Curley.
So the football thrown in, and as a result, no one can clear, and the umpire will bounce. Our umpires today are Chris Mitchell, Stephen Hanley, and Shane McInerney. And at the top of the screen there, some interesting matchups early in this game.
Bounce, 15 metres out from goal. Saints in attack. And a wrestle. They all go to ground, and they all look at the umpire for a free kick, but I don't think there is going to be one.
Now, they're tough ones there, Peter. When two ruckmen are going and they both look like they're holding each other, as you see there. and they both fall over. It's a tough call to give a free kick.
Winded low, hitting the deck, and they'll do it all again. Garlick a chance, missed it. Marnie likewise. Cameron tries to get out of the congestion. Now they do. Kick comes up towards midfield. Hudson onto Elliott. Looking for someone to reload the hand pass to. Finds Harvey, sells the dummy, sells it well. Onto Winmar. That's mine, he says. Kicked it to the voice, perhaps. Pickett didn't want to take the mark. Lovely blind turn, gets himself out of trouble, and again, well played. Pickett from midfield, streams downfield with the kick low on the lead, nearly takes the mark. Berger's there, onto Mitchell. Mitchell 35 out and closing, misses to the left-hand side and one behind.
Pete, I think maybe Robert Harvey thought for 1 minute Nicky Winmar was on his same team at this stage.
Well, it certainly looked that way, didn't it?
I'll tell you, Terry Wallace won't be very happy with Hudson there. He had a look to see where he was going, and didn't show a lot of courage for the ball there. And as you saw, there was a turnover, and St Kilda should have scored a goal.
Leon Cameron brings the ball back into play.
Powell has taken the mark. Good player, Stephen Powell. Maybe lacks a metre in pace. Bulldogs through Craig Ellis across the half-forward line. He played in that position last week. Good mark, good lead and mark there by James Cook. So his third chance for a goal. The other two kicks that he had, one missed altogether, one didn't quite get the distance.
Well, the interesting thing, Robbo, they've all been about the same area, haven't they? 50 metres out.
Yep. Well, I think over the years, is that you, Richard, about to say something, sorry?
Yeah, Rob, I was going to say another interesting thing. On the interchange, the Bulldogs at the moment have got Michael Martin, Paul Di Martino, Jose Romero and Tony Liberatore. So there's a fair bit of running there. So maybe they're just going to use them later in the game when the St Kilda boys might be a bit slower.
And a little bit of antagonism there, Jose and Libba. By gee, they'll be chafing at the bit to get onto the ground. But I was going to say, we've become accustomed to James Cook getting long goals. He gets onto this, but
missed again.
Robbo, identical kicks from James Cook. He's just leaning back a little bit. He needs to follow through with his momentum when he's kicking the ball.
And trying to get the distance, Richard, hooking the ball a little.
Yeah, I think so. James can kick that distance, not a problem. So I don't know why he's trying to kick too far.
Young goes in short to Ziva. Out wide, that's okay. Shane Wakeland looking for Harvey. Southern is there. Fends off him. That's okay. Terrible kick. Wakeland. Shane Wakeland again decides to play on. Heatley at the back, nearly low. Crashes his way through. Bangs it onto the left and hits the post. No luck for Stewie Lowe.
See, the Bulldogs were good last week. They hit the post 4 times, so maybe getting a bit of
Do you think
bits coming back their own way.
They call it destiny, I think, don't they?
Yeah, something like that.
These two sides have played 128 times, 63 wins apiece. That doesn't add up because there have been 2 draws as well. So they're dead set even.
I think the last time they played last year, the Saints won by 15 points.
In round 14, fairly low scoring affair. Leon Cameron gets the whistle from the umpire and finds Danny Southern right on the boundary line.
Reliable defender for the Western Bulldogs, Danny Southern. He's still deep in his defensive 50. The kick lands the ball out close to the wing. Harvey dispossessed. And eventually the umpire will ball it up about 75, 80 metres from the St Kilda goal. They're pretty excited, the footy fans. Scores level. And we've got 6.5 minutes left. Thompson can't break away from Garlick. Scotty West, little handball. Not too bad. The ball goes back towards the middle of the ground. Hudson, well played by Max Hudson. A little too fierce, that the hand pass for Harvey. Back there for the Bulldogs is Brown. Brown's little kick out wide, well taken by Darcy. Darcy is still in the Bulldogs' defensive half. Chris Grant being manned up at the moment by Shane Wakeland.
Looks like Darcy and Grant are sort of swapping those roles coming up the ground.
Jimmy, Aussie Jones is about to come on too.
Hudson tries to knock it clear, but only as far as Young. Back he goes to Peckett. Peckett towards the wing, and the mark is taken out there by Zilla.
On to Hudson. Hudson at right centre wing, good shepherd by Barry Hall. The kick to half forward. Well, not a great kick. Rowan Smith stands his ground well. Brings it out to the members' side of Waverley. Johnson gets a bad bounce. Burt doesn't. Spears it into Stewie Lowe. Gee, was there a bit of interference there? The umpire lets it go again. Rowan Smith looks for somebody to give a hand pass to, remaining a little bit statuesque, gets around Stewie Lowe only just, and that was nearly out of bounds on the full.
Yeah, it came off his leg a little bit there, I think. Actually,
Yeah.
it was good pressure there by Stewie Lowe, and he's really got to stand up in the forward line this week. He got a lot of possessions last week coming through the middle and the back line, but he's really got to get some, put some forward pressure on and kick maybe a few goals.
Lowe to Thompson. You saw Rozzy Jones waiting to come on. This is McLaren. Turns on a threepenny bit, goes at goal. That's not bad, he's kicked it.
Set up nicely by Andrew Thompson. Players with presence, don't get rattled, have composure. Certainly an important member of the side, Andrew Thompson.
Oh yeah, it was a terrific goal there, and as you'll see in a pack, Stewie Lowe had the ball, got it out with a handball. Thompson provided Shepherd, and with a nice kick from the boundary, John McLaren slotted it straight through.
So since St Kilda lead by a goal, they've kicked 2-2. Bulldogs 1-2. Scotty Wind attacking the centre bounce. Ruck work for St Kilda to be done by Elliott. Up early was Wind. West can't quite break away. Good pressure provided by Trionides. Kicked away by Powell towards half forward. Young just getting an important little left hand to it. Then handballs it wide to Peckett. Peckett, left foot kick by that player, finds Burt. Burt nearly up the centre wing. Gets it away to McLaren, already having important possessions. Now Trionides around onto the left. Kicks it into the pocket, and a misunderstanding between Jones and Thompson sees the ball spill over for a boundary throw-in.
Looked like Thompson was playing defensive on Carr there. Thumping it to the boundary on Jones.
I think there was just a lack of talk, Jimmy, by the looks of it. No one said anything.
Well, I guess that they're both got tremendous intent on the footy, and you can't criticise that too much. Here's the gather by Cameron, close to the line. Gee, he executed that well, kept it inside the field of play. Brown now, left foot kick into the middle, chopped off by Young. An important playmaker for St Kilda across the half-back line, but gives it up, kicks it straight to Grant. The rebounding ball, Grant's kick finds Nathan Brown.
Nathan Brown's been very busy so far, Morris medalist. He's at right centre wing for the Bulldogs, under 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. 6 kicks so far for him. Big leap by Elliott, took off the 4 nominations, but still brought it down.
Another player that's playing very well, Tim Elliott.
Mitchell at half-back, tries to draw a player in Powell, does so. A one-on-one contest, Harvey usually wins those. This is, well, no exception, but he couldn't get clear. Curley may be able to. Brushes 1, brushes 2. The hand pass, well, put his teammate under pressure. Johnson tries to slap it out. They will get clear. Curley, that you would reckon is in the back. The umpire agrees. Now a chance for the Bulldogs. If West can get clear, just about get poleaxed by Mitchell. Burke, West intercepts beautifully. Cook and Wakeland. The umpire in the meantime has blown the whistle, and it's going to be a St Kilda free kick for on the shoulder.
Gee, they're ordinary free kicks though.
So there's a lot of clangers early, a little bit like last night with the Melbourne Hawthorn game.
Pickett.
A lot of players just giving the ball away.
To Harvey, to Ozzy Jones, just onto the ground, slips over, takes the ball with him. Heatley with Curley. Nearly went out of bounds. Not quite. No! Oh, it was a fruitcake. It would have splattered all over him. Stewie Lowe, he doesn't often miss those. They may still get away with it, but in the meantime, there's a Bulldogs free kick. It's going to Danny Southern, which he will take at left half back.
Both teams are trying to bring on quicker running players now. Brown has just gone off for St Kilda, and Jose Romero is about to come on for his first run for the Dogs.
I see number 33, Walton, about to come on as well, and this is Marnie at left half back.
Marnie, who had a couple of touches early and fumbled, but sure ball handling on that occasion. Got the ball to Cameron. Cameron to Scotty West. In turn to Hudson. Very skillfully done, Paul Hudson to West. Settle down, he's saying to the players further afield. Now, we do recognise that there is a little bit of breeze blowing. How strong would it be, Richard?
Robbo, I think it's hard to tell at this stage. The flags are going to the end that St Kilda are kicking at, but it might be a goal, but at this stage it's pretty even, the wind.
Not a lot of influence here at Waverley. So West, he's in the left forward pocket with his left foot.
Tough position to kick a goal from here, Robbo.
For a left footer. But he kicks it quite nicely. Oh, very close.
Touch through.
And it is a score to the Western Bulldogs, a behind kick by Scott West.
Actually, two players that were under pressure a bit earlier were Brown and Heatley. They played poor games last week, but they're already getting a lot of possessions. As you see there, Peckett on the bench. Or was that Brown?
I think it might have been Stephen Powell having a talk to his Bulldogs coach, Terry Wallace.
Ramiro came on to replace him, Robbo. Big lead by Croft. Thompson at ground level wins out over the head of McLaren. He might be able to gather this. Rowan Smith has got it in the meantime. Had it, lost it, out of bounds. Throw in between wing and right half forward for the Saints. We've got just over 1 minute left in the first quarter. St Kilda leading 14-9. So goals hard to come by here at Waverley, as so often is the case.
Yeah, and I don't think any team, either of these teams against each other, have kicked more than 20 goals. Is that right, Robbo?
They're right there, Jim. They've struggled. 19 goals, I think, to the Bulldogs and 16 to St Kilda.
It's the most they've ever kicked.
Interestingly, Peter, I think you quoted a stat there that they've won 63 games each and 2 games have been drawn. If you had a look at the stats now, they're just about dead level as well. Kicks, handballs, marks, tackles, etc.
Maybe it's going to be a draw this afternoon. Marty missed it. Thompson doesn't. Onto his right, perhaps the last real chance for a score. That is out of bounds, and according to the goal umpire, it bounced just before the line, so we'll see a throw in right next to the behind post, about 15 metres from goal. Saints right forward pocket. Last few moments of the opening quarter. Saints winning their first home game here against Melbourne. They blitzed the Demons on that day. Melbourne came back in the third quarter, but the lead was too great, and the Saints finished up winning the match by over 40 points. Thompson, a snap, and the mark is there. It's taken by Walton. He's just come on.
Sensational there, where Andrew Thompson just read that defensive tap very well and put it across into the goal square, and Walton just in front of his man, as you see here, in front of Danny Southern, took the mark on his chest. Great mark.
Walton directly in front, kicks and kicks truly. It's a goal.
Actually, if you look at those boundary throw-ins, always a forward ruckman's trying to knock the ball out the back, and the defensive ruckman's always trying to go to the boundary. But often, as you'll see here, Scott's gone forward, Scott wins, and Thompson just read it well.
Well, he kept it alive very well, did Andrew Thompson. He's had 8 possessions in this first quarter, and it's just important. I mean, sometimes the opposition just relax a little close to the quarter-time siren, and it's amazing what can happen in just a few seconds.
Absolutely, and Thompson, I thought, had a poor game last week. He was a bit down, and really a lot of players who just struggling for a bit of form in the last couple of rounds have really put their hand up today for both sides.
Well, the crunch is on, both these sides with just 1 win before this match, and the competition is going to be pretty tight, you would think. The Bulldogs get the ball away from the centre. Hudson and Matthew Young. I don't quite know whether they would have played much footy together at Hawthorn, Peter, would they? Both ex-Hawks, aren't they?
Paths may have crossed, albeit briefly, I think, Robbo.
Well, Paul Hudson prepared to try to pass the ball off. Didn't quite work. There was only seconds left. So there's a bit of a to-do between Heatley and Todd Curley. Danny Southern to chip in and give a few words of advice to Jason Heatley, probably to mind his own business, I guess. But at quarter time, the Saints lead their 3-2-20, and the Bulldogs are 1-3-9. And Tim Watson, 4 matches into his AFL coaching career, after a wonderful playing career, sees St Kilda lead by 11 points at quarter time.
Really, the doggies have got to get in and get that tough ball that's under the packs. And Elliott's doing very well in the centre.
Bulldogs to the left of screen in this quarter. Saints to the right. Elliott can't get it clear. Brown applies a tackle. Thompson, possession number 9. Up and under kick to half forward. Low. punches to the front. McLaren kicked the Saints' second goal from outside 50. Gee, that'll go close to scoring as well. It's not bad. It's drifting, and that was a pretty well judged mark.
Again there, Peter.
Curly.
St Kilda just getting the ball out of the centre, and McLaren getting a chance to have a shot for goal.
Curly's kick, Elliott, snaffled by Brown. Certainly one of the Bulldogs' busiest players. Marnie at half-back, pushed as he kicks up to midfield. Young leading Hudson, the two former Hawks. Young across half-back, beautifully delivered. He finds Justin Peckett.
Peckett now running down towards the wing. No one really to kick to, so he's going to have to bomb away, and he might cough it up. Rowan Smith getting back, watches it bounce over for a throw-in. At that centre bounce, Jimmy, I think it was quite significant that Andrew Thompson, who took the ball away, as 4 or 5 players threw themselves on the ball, he was the one who kept his footing. It spilled out, and of course he's able to kick the ball. Yeah,
and it's very important in today's footy that you keep your feet, because you're just a man down when you're on the ground.
Well, there he is again, Andrew Thompson. That hand pass, he was looking for his teammate in Stephen Ziller, and the Saints fans appealing there for a free kick, but not forthcoming as we check St Kilda's interchange, Richard.
Robbo, we've got Tony Francis, Matthew Carr, Barry Hall and Jason Trianides.
Barry Hall, interestingly, on the bench. Well, this man I don't think will be if he keeps playing like that. Thompson. The kick was a real hospital hand or pass, but it was snaffled by Mitchell onto Ziller. A mongrel punt kick off the boot, and a mistake down there by Curley. Could have been costly, but wasn't. It goes through for a rush behind. Heatley was breathing right down his neck.
Oh, yeah, it was a poor kick there, but Heatley was a bit disappointed letting his teammate know. Now, what's interesting here with Thompson, he just keeps finding the footy, and it's amazing. Like, you can go out in 2 games. 1 week the ball, you can't get near it. The next week it just keeps landing in your hands.
The amazing thing about the oval ball that we play Aussie rules with.
Leon Cameron. It's a good kick distance-wise. It's to a contest, though. Wind and low. McLaren was tripped up accidentally. All tied up, and it's going to be a ball up. 65 metres from goal. Let's go down to the boundary rider again. Aussie, who have we got on the bench for the Bullies?
We've got Michael Martin, Paul Di Martino, Jose Ramiro and Tony Liberatore.
Jose Ramiro not getting much of a go. He came on for about 2 minutes at the end of the previous quarter. McLaren. Mitchell, a little flip out to Brown. Brown just outside 50. That's fantastic play, and Heatley swallows it at centre-half forward.
Yeah, lovely play there. As you'll see, Lowe is taking the ruck work there against Wind, where Elliott was running forward and Croft was picking him up, and I suppose it's just trying to get a different mismatch.
Yep.
And there Brown just taking the crumb and delivering a beautiful ball to Heatley.
Got 1 goal already. Twice the winner of the club goal, kicking at Moorabbin. Heatley from 45. Kicks and has slammed it into the woodwork for 1 behind, so a little bit of bad luck there. 1 goal, 1 against Jason Heatley's name early in the second quarter here at Waverley.
Peter, I think a little bit of football trivia. I just noticed Alan Stoneham might be the St Kilda runner, and he would have played a little bit of football with Tim Watson at Essendon, having crossed to the Bombers from the Footscray Football Club.
Didn't he run into Dipper one day at Carlton?
But had a real bad eye, Alan Stoneham. But back to the footy, as Scotty West gets it to Brad Johnson. Johnson into the middle. Winmar steadies, then kicks with the left, out wide, very wide. Grant, gee, it was a good kick, wasn't it?
Gee, it was beautiful. It didn't fly too well, but gee, it landed exactly where he wanted it, right in Grant's hands.
Grant from outside 50 goes long. Mark, no, not quite to Darcy. He hasn't paid Jimmy.
That is a shocking decision. That is just shocking. The ball, okay, he made a good effort to get up there, but I don't even think he held it for more than...
It's actually not a mark. It must be a free kick to James Cook.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll go back into our shell for a moment or so.
Yeah, sorry about that, umpires.
James Cook has got the footy, folks. Not Luke Darcy, as we thought may have been paid the mark.
And he should kick his 100th goal here.
Well, he's only metres out, and he dobs it through for the Bulldogs. James Cook kicks his first goal after having 3 shots at goal in the first term without registering, and Darcy coming off the ground. Well,
I think when he went up there for that mark, he must have someone must have taken his legs from under him or something.
Let's see what happened here. Watch Cook anyway. He was the player allegedly interfered with. Gee, well, he was his own man almost.
There was absolutely nothing in that free kick.
And you won a Brownlow medal.
Yeah. Well, Darcy not looking good.
Now, Luke Darcy has subsequently been taken from the ground. I don't think as a disciplinary measure, but
might have just had the
got a knee in the back.
The stuffing knocked out of him, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, anyway, the bottom line is Terry Wallace will be a little bit happier. That was a goal kicked by Cook, his first. 3-4 to 2-3 at Waverley. A handy one for the Bullies. And another ball up to take place just wide of the centre circle. Margin back to 7 points. Saints won in round 14 here last year by 15 points. Elliott against Wine. Won by the Footscray player, Western Bulldogs player, Zilla. McLaren, already a goal kicker here today. Joe McLaren kicks long, up to Heatley. Oh, Croft missed what he certainly should have taken. Curley gets taken down by Heatley. Likewise, Garlick hits the deck. Powell applies a tackle. And the umpire will come in and ball it up again.
So McLaren's doing very well there out of the centre, just off the half-forward line. He's getting onto that quick kick here before he rolled one there from Stewie Lowe and had a shot for goal in the I think about 5 minutes ago. So he's really he's very impressive on the half-forward line.
Stewie Lowe wins it straight to Powell. He's played more than 70 reserves games, and the mark taken for the Saints by Damien Ryan, who played a few games with Richmond. West back to Powell, and this time he should clear for the Doggies.
He does, and kicks it long to half forward, knocked away. The crumb gatherer is Hudson. Hudson goes towards full forward. Cook and Darryl Wakeland. Darryl Wakeland to recover. The handball away to Ryan. Ryan across the full back line, and Hudson is marked. Nearly slipped out of his grasp, but able to control it at the finish. Goes in towards the centre half back area. Ryan again. Ryan to Harvey. Harvey, not real big stats, but just efficiently playing around the middle of the ground.
Yeah, he's been watched pretty closely by West.
So Mitchell towards half forward, and Scotty Wine gets back and takes a good safe mark from behind Stewie Lowe.
And that's the sort of thing that Scotty Wynn's got to do to be valuable to Footscray. He's got to be taking those sort of marks deep in defence.
Gee, Danny Southern diving to the ground to try and take the chest mark. Slipped out of his hands. He was able to recover to Curley. In turn to Ellis. Winmar, look out, you're in strife. Ellis gets it back. Caught. Now what's happened? Winmar's been interfered with after he got rid of the football push out.
So that was a little bit stiff, Robbo.
Yes, umpires being a little pedantic here today. Maybe if they let it go and a few more physical clashes, the crowd will get involved. The game will lift in intensity, and I'm sure we'll all be a lot more interested in this terrific game of Aussie rules football. That kick, has that been marked?
Yes, it has.
Gee, that was a good effort by the big fellow. Off to Johnson. Johnson to Grant. He's got it. He's good at that, Chris Grant, isn't he? He's really strengthened his body, and he got rid of his opponent and went on and kicked the goal for the Bulldogs. It's all clear.
You've got to say that's great play by Scott Wynn, because he's taken a mark down the back line. Next thing, he's pushed forward, which puts pressure on the opposition ruckman, and you just got to do that. For a big guy in today's footy, you've got to be able to play both ends of the ground. He did it. He intercepted that shocking kick from the mark from
Hutto
Winmar.
would say it was a great pass.
Well, as you see it there in the replay, he just got back up, giving it off quickly to Johnson, and marked by Grant, and then Grant played on and kicked a beautiful goal.
Well, Chris Grant, deal best and fairest for the Western Bulldogs. That will certainly lift his confidence. Darcy back onto the ground now. So he seems to have recovered from that knock he got about 3 or 4 minutes back. Back to the centre. Garlick out of the middle. Marking contest at half forward. Hudson missed it. Chance for Winmar on the left. Puts it out in front for Cook. Punched away by Wakeland. The two Wakelands are there. Darcy looks for a player going past. Hudson snap off the right, not bad. Goal umpire right over his head. It's a goal. Bullies in front.
Yeah, that's an exciting goal there. That'll just put him in front, and as you can see, he's just a dangerous player, Hudson. You know, last week kicking 4 goals, 3 in about 15 minutes. And here, just when they needed a goal, just to put the pressure on the Saints, Hudson was around just to sweep up.
Well, all his goals last week, Jim, came after half-time, I think, didn't they?
Yeah, although he sat on the bench for the first half. So he would have been happy to be starting the ground today.
So Western Bulldogs fans with a bit more to cheer about. They've kicked the last 2 goals. Scotty Wine trying to break away. Is that too high? No, there was a player being held away from the football. It looks like Simon Garlick, the recipient of the free kick. Garlick goes out wide, looks for Grant, punched away by Wakeland. Good contest between Harvey and West. Harvey not able to break away with the footy. Robert Harvey has had 4 kicks, 1 hand pass. Scotty West 3 kicks and 5 hand passes. And
the Bulldogs really lifting their game now.
Well, not much in the scoreboard. 27 to 22. Winmar having something to say. Martin only just onto the ground. Slipped through his fingers, but able to get it back to Winmar. Winmar into the pocket, but coughs it up and finds Nathan Burke. Nathan Burke is about left half back for St Kilda, and he's been told to play on. Correct. Zilla takes the footy, kicks it out wide, very wide. Good mark. Excellent mark taken by Marnie in front of Thompson. Now, I don't know whether Josh Marnie started on Andrew Thompson, but maybe Terry Wallace prepared to concede that Thompson was a terrific player early. Rowan Smith gathers, gets the ball into the middle of the ground. Croft, good player Matthew Croft, very reliable. Kicks it, Cook couldn't mark it. Defensive work by Wakeland. Hudson, now Liberatore, shrugs the Jones tackle, gets it back. Hudson, mark it down. Mark it down! He doesn't miss many of those. He's kicked 3.
I think that was Libby's first touch, wasn't it, too?
Yes, I'll concede that, but isn't Paul Hudson? I mean, Jimmy, we spoke about one of the passages of play in the first term. I guess you just have to make allowances for the way he plays his game, because he's so good when he gets the ball in that 50-metre area.
And he's such an opportunist. You see here, Liberatore, could have been a free kick for pushing in the face, but you see Hudson just always there, loves to be near the goals, and when he gets an opportunity, rarely misses.
So Tim Watson goes for the phone. Libber having a hand in the goal. Paul Hudson gets his 3rd. I mentioned to Jim that he got 4 after half-time. If he can do that again today, he's going to have a nice bag of goals. Back to the centre. Elliott against Wind. Neither gets an effective tap-out. Chance for the Saints now. Burke from Zilla to Mitchell. May have been touched off the boot. Chance for Thompson. Now he gets a chance to take it. The hand pass is wild. Mitchell might have been taken high with a tackle. The umpire lets it go. Zilla again back to Thompson. Getting plenty of the Sharon. Puts it up high again. Marnie, courage needed there, and takes a good mark.
He's a player. Really impressed by him last week. Took a lot of marks against the Blues.
Martin just onto the ground. Grant. Umpire says play on. Takes his opponent out. The hip and shoulder is fair according to the umpire. Grant to Cook. This time he hangs on to the mark. And a little bit closer to goal, James Cook. He had about 3 shots for goal in the first quarter. In fact, 4. They were all round about the 50-metre mark. The end result of all that was 2 behinds, and Chris Grant putting it in the right spot for him.
Well, this could be the biggest margin so far in the game. At quarter time, St Kilda led by 11. Presently, the Bulldogs in front by 11. Cook maybe to make it 17.
He's kicked 1. That came in this quarter. It was a little bit closer in, admittedly. Now he's gone back a long way, about 35 metres from the man on the mark.
Well, this was a custom of his, even when he first started at Carlton, and it helped him, I reckon, get good distance and kick accurately.
Bit of Paul Salmon about it.
So from 48 metres, Cook has missed again, won't quite make the distance. Darcy was there, got a fingernail to it. Grant, this way, that way, snaps, misses, and kicks it behind.
Robbo, again, James Cook just leant back on that kick, needs to follow through. He's made that mistake 3 times in a row now.
Yeah, and he didn't even get any distance on his kick, so obviously a very poor kick on that occasion. But at least he's getting the footy, and he's leading out and taking some good marks.
Well, St Kilda, they only trail by 12 points. It's a fairly low-scoring affair so far. 11 minutes left in the second term. Matthew Young carries the ball nearly to the edge of his defensive 50-metre, and a good mark taken there by Darryl Wakeland. He's still in his defensive half. That's pretty good. Thompson's made good position. So getting a lot of the football, Andrew Thompson lets himself down there with disposal. And
it's been his Achilles today, hasn't it, his disposal?
Well, a modern-day AFL footballer in the clear like that, I don't think he'd be very happy with that result. Kicked away by Smith to Winmar. Bulldogs now in their defensive 50, try to just keep control of the football. Winmar goes across the full-back line. Now they set it up. Curley able to run through and then kick the ball towards the middle of the ground. Just very well done, wasn't it? Methodical, efficient. Southern accepting from Croft. Kicks the ball to half forward. Back there is Peckett, assisted by Wakelin, away to Trianides. Trianides, who's been a good player for the Saints, kicks it out wide. Lowe can't get his hands on it. Still Stuart Lowe now. Good work there, providing the shepherd. Burke over the top. Barry Hall should kick a goal. St Kilda go for their fourth. And he's just missed Barry Hall, kicking a behind.
Yeah, he's really got to put them away. He spent a bit of time on the bench today. And when that's happening, you really got to impress the coach by kicking those goals to stay out there.
Rowan Smith brings it in. Looks for and finds Danny Southern. Markle free kick. The umpire says play on. Southern's hand pass is okay to Powell. Back to Garlick. Likewise getting plenty of the footy. Marking contest at half forward. Hudgton, Ellis, good tackle. Ball jarred free. Wakelin to Young. Matthew Young up from right half back. Thompson again with Garlick. Thompson wins out. And yet his strides taken off. Elliott. Well, the umpire has played a free kick.
For Holden.
I guess a little bit long in the tackle.
Well, I think he played that one for Holden.
Trianides. Breaks away, clear of Liberatore. They come from all directions. Hickley had it punched away. Southern gets a fist to it. Liberatore again. Johnson. Now Aussie Jones. Chance for the Saints through Francis. Long up towards full forward. Out of bounds on the full. Opportunities going begging here.
Amazing how many times a player strives for distance. Tony Francis on his non-preferred side, trying to kick the ball a little too far, hooked and missed everything.
Marnie to Croft. Rowan Smith at right half back. Wakelin, Shane Wakelin. Just couldn't quite get a handle on it. Hudson can. To West, kicks into Young. Wasn't the required distance, so no mark. Gets it on to Harvey. Over the head of Wind, another Brownlow medalist. Now Trianides at 50. He likes these. Trianides goes at goal, kicks a beauty. They worked hard for that, Jimmy boy.
Yeah, that was great play, actually. Matthew Young intercepted that, and Chris Grant was free in the forward line. And it was just terrific because it would have been a goal the other way. He got the ball, got it down forward to, as you'll see, to Trianides, who just didn't see it here. Intercepts, gets the ball out of handball to Harvey. Harvey looks long, finds Trianides. Trianides played on. A beautiful left foot kick, made the full distance.
Jason Trianides, the goal kicker. Jose Ramiro onto the ground for the Western Bulldogs. Had a run late in the first term at the expense of Stephen Powell. Scotty Wind over the top. Thompson taken by Wind. Quickly onto his left foot. Gets the ball towards the forward 50. Grant, handball away. Johnson, go in Brad Johnson and kick a magnificent goal. Goal to the Bulldogs, kicked by Johnson.
Again, one out of the centre. You know, Scotty Wynn getting his hand to the ball and then following it up, getting the ball back, and that's really what they've got to do. They were losing it in the middle in the first quarter, as we saw 5 centre breaks to Zilch. And as you see here, Scotty Wynn getting his hand down, the ball down to his teammate, getting it back on the foot, just kicking it forward. Grant picks up the crumb, and that handball is a beautiful handball to Johnson, who didn't make any mistake from 58.
Well, the key to that, Brad Johnson not having to change stride. Nathan Brown having words with the coach. So the umpire restarts play. Elliott up high. Thompson not able to break away. Scotty Wine just got a little hand onto Andrew Thompson to hold him up.
And just on Brown there, I've noticed that Jones came on for St Kilda to pick up Nathan Brown, who had about 7 possessions in the first quarter, and he's restricted him to 2 handballs in this quarter. So Aussie Jones might be getting a lot of footy, but he's
going
doing a job.
one way and then the other. It's interesting, isn't it? The battle of Australian football, and a chance here for Francis. He's tackled by West and Hudson. Still Scotty West. Matthew Young into the action. The umpire's found a free kick. I just felt there that the central umpire in the square wasn't prepared to blow his whistle, and down further it looked like umpire Chris Mitchell who gave the free kick. The advantage obviously with the Western Bulldogs in that passage of play, and it's Simon Garlick to kick them to within scoring range, right into the goal square. Cook put his hands in the middle of his opponent's back. The umpire prepared to allow play to go on. Francis receiving, gets it to Hodgson. St Kilda out of trouble. Hodgson's kick goes out towards the wing. Good mark to Peckett.
Peckett over Martin. Martin lost his footing and Peckett goes forward. Harvey will block him. Still Peckett. Peckett from left half forward. Spears it in towards Stewie Lowe. Croft. Attempted punch from behind, ineffective. Rowan Smith has got it. Through some pretty heavy traffic there. They make it out of this, they will. West up towards midfield. Jose. Ramiro onto Martin. Onto Garlick. Garlick wide of the circle. Tries to sell the dummy. Couldn't do so. Wasn't a great hand pass. Grant back to Garlick. Getting plenty of the footy. Long shot at goal. He might kick one. He has. Great play. Well, he deserved that. He's been a good kick winner. Good possession gatherer, Garlick, today. And a handy one for the Bullies, their 7th.
Yeah, and played a good game last week. What's interesting down the other end is a quick turnover there. With Lowe not taking the mark, the ball then goes down the other end. Stu Lowe took 19 marks the last time they played out here together. Now, as you see, again, Chris Grant getting the handball off to Garlick, and Garlick making no mistake of it.
So the goal kicked by Simon Garlick. He becomes the Western Bulldogs' 5th goal kicker. Paul Hudson has kicked 3. Ramiro trying to swoop onto it. Martin and Peckett. And eventually the umpire will call for a bounce. 46 plays, 29, 6.5 minutes left in the term.
Robbo, I think that last passage of play we saw a classic case of a turnover by St Kilda. Modern style of football. Within 10 seconds the ball's up the other end and the Bulldogs have kicked a goal. Yeah,
and straight down the middle too, which is obviously the quickest way to goal.
And made it a lot easier, didn't it? Grant has been instrumental in a couple of the Bulldogs' goals in this term.
Yeah, just on that, what you're seeing here is a lot of people spoke during the week about a game of the on-ballers, like the midfielders. St Kilda, I thought, really needed their big blokes to stand up today, like Lowe, Heatley and Hall. And, you know, Lowe's only taken 1 mark for the day, so you need to get a bit more out of their big blokes if they're going to be competitive against the Bulldogs.
Fair point there by Jimmy Steins, and the Bulldogs into attack once again. Scotty West, but getting back, Hudson dropped what he should have taken. Max won't like to see the replay of that, especially if the Bulldogs can get a goal. Johnson's hook kick across the face, good mark taken by Elliott. Too tall back there for Nathan Brown.
There's pressure game. People make simple mistakes.
Elliott's kick finds Young in the left back pocket for St Kilda. Matthew Young kicks it out wide, out close to the wing. Thompson coming up for possession number 15. Still 5 minutes left in the first half, so Andrew Thompson figuring prominently in the better players for the St Kilda lineup. Josh Marnie, Ramiro, Rowan Smith, the playmaker, into the centre of the ground. Another one of the Western Bulldogs playmakers, Brad Johnson. Back to Marnie, a Dower run with her. Now Marnie, his kick towards full forward. Elliott again nonchalantly takes the mark and then sweeps the hand pass out wide to Young.
Yes, Ellis kept out of that marking contest by a good shepherd. This guy is just about BOG at the moment. Thompson at left centre wing, over the head of West. Low, too high for him. Aussie Jones takes it instead with Liberatore on the mark, being brought back by the umpire. Now he decides to play on. Jones starting on the bench, kicks up towards centre half forward, punch away by Marnie, back to Croft. Croft looking for someone, finds Southern, onto Curley. The Bulldogs run it well out of defence. Curley's kick towards centre wing, that's okay, onto Hudson.
Freeman and Winmar down forward.
Certainly onto Winmar on his own. What can he do?
Scotty Wine.
Winmar, lovely balk around Elliott, onto Wine. Wine will give it back to him. No, he won't. Bad hand pass. And they may get out of this. The Saints wind again. And Wakeland's in the road, takes the mark in front of Grant. Bombs it up high for Hodgson. should mark and does. Clear of Ellis at left half back. Oh, Thompson again.
Harvey.
I'd stand next to him if I wanted to get a kick because it just keeps following him.
McLaren.
Now a chance for McLaren at left half forward. Still McLaren, he's kicked one already in the first quarter. And he has missed to the far side. He's not happy. One behind.
Stewie Lowe too, I don't think was too happy. Almost on his own, the goal square there.
Yeah, I was just about to say that. The other thing what I'm noticing is St Kilda running the ball around the boundary to get forward, whereas what you're seeing with the Bulldogs is they're going straight down the middle.
46 plays 30, 16 points the margin in favour of the Bulldogs. 3.5 minutes left. Curley to bring it back. Gets it outside his defensive 50. Big punch by Elliott. Good play. Barry Hall, too slow. Gee whiz.
Great tackle.
Yeah, terrific tackle there by Danny Southern.
Lost his awareness, didn't he?
Yeah, he's just trying to settle.
Well, Southern plays on quickly and gets it to Ramiro. Ramiro is on centre wing, holding the ball, then gets it to Wine. Wine with just a little bit of time to steady. Kicks it high in towards half forward. That should be paid the mark there to Matthew Carr, and he is at right half back for St Kilda.
Tell you, I'm sure Terry Wallace had a chat to Scott Wynn during the week about pushing forward and putting a bit of pressure on their opponent.
Ball spills to the back, but Barry Hall, he looks as though he's going to be replaced. And with just a few moments left in the second term, Walton comes back onto the ground at the expense of Barry Hall.
Second time today he's been benched. Barry Hall won't be too happy with that. So back to centre wing. Wind. Spikes it some 15 metres downfield. Harvey can't grab it. Cook about to come back on. Must admit I didn't see him going off the ground, so he can't have been off for too long. Nathan Brown comes off. Cook back on. Elliott loses out to Wine. Loses out to Burke. Harvey flips it up. Winmar's there in the road. Garlick gets ridden into the ground, or is it holding the footy? It's neither, according to the umpire.
Gee, that was a close one.
Pete, I think the umpire was just blocked for his view there. It could have been in the back, but just couldn't quite see it.
Thanks, Ozzy. So another bounce on centre wing. Final few moments of the second quarter. Ramiro, gee, got through there quite well. Saints with the numbers. Wakeland takes it out of bounds.
We were saying there before with Barry Hall, it's interesting because he missed that goal, then got dispossessed in that tackle, and he finds himself on the bench. So a lot of pressure in AFL football.
No room for error.
No way.
Left half forward for the Bulldogs. Now Wine tangles with Elliott. Who's going to get the free kick here?
Actually, Wine's going to get the free kick, but I was just going to make a comment. Chris Grant before half-time, impressive stats, Jimmy, 8 and 3, and he's kicked a goal.
Yeah, much better this week. Last week he was a little bit down and on the pressure, as you saw with James Hurd.
Cameron de Grant, Mitchell from Thompson. Mitchell in the right back pocket for St Kilda. And kicks it straight to Scotty Wine. Not a great kick. Wine again, not electing to go for the kick, but gets it onto Croft, who can kick long. And does. Will land it almost in the 10-metre square. Hudson, a punch. Johnson looks for the free kick. There was none there. Kicked away by Carr. Carr's kick to the outer side. Liberatore and Aussie Jones. And they both take it over the line. It will be a throw-in right on 50 on the outer side, right half forward.
It's amazing when the players get close to the boundary line and someone slides like that. You just notice the Western Bulldogs boys all appealing for out of bounds on the full.
They're really enforcing it this year, the umpires.
So the boundary throw in, and just an absolute pack of players there throwing themselves on the footy. Underneath it all, Paul DiMartina. Scoreboard showing the Bulldogs have the advantage, 46-30, close to half-time.
Timmy Watson will be very happy. They've only kicked one goal this quarter, and they had a 11-point lead at quarter time. But I'm sure Terry Wallace will be very happy with his boys, and particularly Scott Wynn and Hudson, who both spent the first half of last week on the bench.
Well, St Kilda eventually worked very hard to clear their half-back line. Danny Southern back to Scotty West. West high, doesn't do too bad actually. They might get away with this. Rowan Smith, he was well run down by McLaren, but able to get the hand pass to Marnie. Marnie's kick into the pocket, not really to the advantage there of Brown. And Brown, be careful. It's not Brown, it's Cook. Yes, it was a rather indiscreet effort there, wasn't it?
That was just silly. Like, okay, he didn't make connection, but he lifts the elbow here. That's just silly.
Undisciplined, and
he can be reported for that, attempting to strike it. That's what he was doing.
And rightly so, a free kick against him.
Well, they worked hard to get the ball down there, and all of a sudden the free kick allows the St Kilda side to get the ball out towards the wing, but it's Marnie gathering, getting a few possessions late in the second term. Josh Marnie kicks the ball towards Burke and Johnson. Burke keeps Johnson out of the fray, and away goes Carr for St Kilda.
Carr's kick up towards Ozzie Jones and Liberatore, but neither can do anything with it as the siren goes to end the first half here at Waverley. And a good second quarter by the Western Bulldogs. As Jim mentioned, they trailed by 11 points at quarter time, but restricting the Saints to just the 1 goal in the second term, and they have gone to a lead of 16 points. 7-4-46 the Bulldogs, and leading St Kilda 4-6-30 at the main change. Stewie Lowe unable to get into the game. By sharp contrast, the man there wearing number 4, Thompson, has been in everything, hasn't he? Had a great
terrific first half. 6 goals to the Bullies in that second term, Pete.
All right, from Waverley, we'll take a break. Back with more in just a moment.
Carr's playing his first season, played reserves all last year, and his brother, I believe, plays support.
Second half from Waverley, 16 points the difference in favour of the Western Bulldogs. Kick off the ground, gets it away from the circle. Harvey under a cloud through injury, but seems to be okay. Peckett onto Young. Winmar late on the scene. Young's kick comes out towards Burke. Good gather. And a pretty good smother down there by Hudson too. Kick from half forward. In fact, that was Johnson. Curley gets it on to Powell. Stephen Powell, played more than 70 games of reserves football, out to Libba.
Tough player too, Powell.
Played plenty of reserves games. He won 2 Gardner medals. Hudson, did he get a nudge in the back? Not according to the umpire. Rowan Smith can't get clear. Wrapped up by Ozzie Jones. The 2 number 5 is tangled.
That'll be a good lift for Ozzie Jones. You know, that's good tackle. Just pin the arms to the body.
And the players around him too, Jimmy. They get a lift out of something like that.
Yeah, and often with tackles like that, unless you pin the arms, it's really not really that effective.
Now Harvey from Francis, who provides the shepherd to keep West at bay. Oh gee, that's out of bounds on the full, I think. Have to wait on the boundary umpire. Yes, it is.
I wonder if you know, that injury to Harvey, getting a cork thigh, is actually slowed him down a little bit today.
Cameron to Powell.
Hasn't seemed to have done the running that he normally does in a game of footy.
Powell at left half back, looks for options. Gee, I think it was late in the last quarter. He's gone back to Marnie. So trying to set play up. 2 guys with the helmets. Burke dumps his opponent. Martin started on the bench. Looks for the hand pass to no one in particular. Might be out of bounds. In fact, that is out of bounds. Carr will give it back to the umpire, the boundary umpire. Let's go to Aussie to check on the St Kilda bench. A couple of heavies there.
It sure is, mate. We've got Tony Brown, Daryl Wakeland, Jason Heatley and Barry Hall. Two of their better forwards. I know they're not doing much, but get him on the park. They can't do anything on the bench. It's
amazing, Aussie, that Tony Brown is on the bench. He was on the ground for a short while, I think, in the second term, wasn't it? Or first term, maybe. And the Saints got a goal as a result of his passage of play.
Very classy running player. I'd definitely have him on the ground, Robbo.
Tell you, it's not a lot of fun sitting on the bench, Robbo. I did it last year for a lot of the season.
No, it's very, very difficult, I would think.
Frustrating.
Well, you're all ready for a game of footy, and you're not sure when you're ever going to get onto the field, I guess. But
yeah, particularly in today's footy, where matchups are such a key, and you're trying to get a tall or as a small, and then you've got no choice but to take a player off. And I remember Paul Krimpke, when he started playing with Melbourne a few years back, and you know, he wouldn't know until the game started whether he was on or off. It's a tough run.
Stuart Lowe kicks the ball into the centre. Peckett for St Kilda. They must get a goal out of this. His kick goes in the direction there of Trianides. What a magnificent kick! Say no more. Jason Trianides has plucked one for the Saints.
That was just beautiful play there. Left foot, just cut it around the body. Just a beautiful bit of Dacos about it. But as you'll see here, Peckett, nice long kick into the forward line. Trianides picked it up one bounce, and I don't know how he managed to get that in there. It's a beautiful goal. Well done, young man.
And that should please Timothy. Jason Trianides getting his second goal, certainly the more spectacular of the two, and their first multiple goal kicker. The difference is back to 10 points at Waverley. Wind, clean possession. Well, he couldn't get a kick away just the same. Flipped up to Peckett by Francis. Low and Croft. Carr was the flyer. Rowan Smith looking for a free kick. Walton overruns it. Libber's got it. Goes for the rush behind. The difference back to 9 points.
Please, Jason Trianides, that goal was just absolutely magnificent. At 189 centimetres, or 6'3" or 6'4" in the old scale, he'd have to be one of the best ground level players, and just brilliant at his height.
Any thoughts about those rush behinds? What do you think we should do there?
Well, it's funny. I heard someone on the radio this morning, Jimmy, saying that it should be a free kick, but I suppose it's a grey area.
Yeah, no, I don't think. I think if it hits the post and comes back into play, I'd like to see that
Gaelic
played
football.
on.
Powell. Yeah, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Young. Good mark. Across to Wakeland. Shane Wakeland from right half back. Pressure from the Bulldogs.
Brown was good.
Brown has been good. He might get another chance here right on the boundary line, the Morris medalist.
They might get a goal out of it too.
Beautifully done to Grant. Needs to steady, needs to be accurate. He's both. He's put it through. The goal umpire doesn't
Give
move.
it to
The Bulldogs
Brown as
get the
well.
reply.
See, that's unbelievable. How Chris Grant, he had so much room there. He was just all on his own inside 50. And, what was going on there, I'm not too sure. But as you'll see here, Scott Wind again loves giving out a handball. Not a terrific handball, but Nathan Brown pounced on it. And as you'll see here, Chris Grant all on his own just outside 50. Has a bounce on a pretty cute angle and puts it straight through. A terrific goal from a position like that.
Well, Chris Grant kicked the goal, but it was a smother from Nathan Brown that kept the ball alive across half forward for the Bulldogs, eventually finishing with Chris Grant kicking a very, very good goal. Winmar, short pass. Oh, how did he get on his own? He's a long, long way away. Hodgson is a little frustrated. I wonder whether Max Hodgson is playing on James Cook at the moment.
Yeah, I think Powell and Hodgson had a bit of a mix-up there and who was going to pick up Cook in this instance. But again, in the centre, pretty good hit out there from Scott Wynn. Got the ball forward and Nicky Winmar pounced on it. And it's a beautiful little pass to Cook.
Gee, you see the Western Bulldogs, I think, play their best football when their captain is contesting at the centre bounces. It's as if he helps the other players lift in stature.
Yeah, well, he certainly proved that last week when he came on in the second half. He was one of their best players.
Cook goes for goal and has missed.
1 goal 3 for James Cook.
What's impressed me with Scott Wind is he's staying on the ball, and they don't. Some people are saying he doesn't have the legs to play a full game, but he's certainly shown it today, and his statistics have been pretty good with 10 possessions, 3 marks.
Matthew Young, former Hawk, up to the back pocket. Zilla. Over the head of Wakeland. Walton, that's out of bounds on the full, I think. Yes, it is. So Brown again gets the chance. Too far out to score, certain. No, it's not going to be his. Southern, back to Brown. One of them's kicked it. Brown. Why, nearly no. Didn't pay it.
Should have taken
Hudson had a chance. Young. Over the head of Peckett. Burke doesn't miss too much. They may be able to get away with it. Peckett still. Was he held too long in the tackle? The umpire says no. Still Peckett. Well played by the Saints defender. A class player. Gets it up towards left half forward. Ball flipped up to McLaren. Carr was there. Gives chase again.
Go
and he
and
goes. Can't pick it up. Martin out of bounds. And that's the best result the Bulldogs could have had from that play. A bit of frustration there. I'm trying to pick up a piece of soap in the bath.
Yeah, you got to just support your teammates, though. Get in there and get a shepherd, Robbo.
Well, it looked pretty obvious from here. I guess it might be a little bit more difficult down there at ground level.
Francis, Aussie Jones fires out the quick hand pass. Thompson from Garlick. McLaren off the step. Trianides is there. Marnie punches the ball and it will clear the line for another rush behind to the Saints. Well, Southern usually involved in something out there, being spoken to by the umpire.
Looks like a Maasai warrior now, doesn't he? I think he went over to South Africa over the summer, didn't he?
He's a fearsome-looking custom.
Oh, he's a real character of the game, Danny Southern, and he's dumped someone there. That's why the crowd were jeering and cheering. Gee, the kick by Rowan Smith is a beauty. Pinpoints Stephen Powell from about 45 metres. Powell quickly onto the left, kicks towards half-forward. Grant dispossessed very well by Shane Wakeland. They're standing up to their task, the Wakeland brothers. Now there's an indication of Robert Harvey. You very, very rarely see him fumble. That ball comes out wide to McLaren, looks to play on, must get a goal here, the Saints. 2 against 1 though. The Bulldogs have Jason Traianides outnumbered, and Rowan Smith nearly caught. Handball away, Curley's in trouble, gone! Play goes on. Mitchell to gather the crumbs. Mitchell goes back towards half-forward. Thompson gives it away. McLaren, Joey McLaren goes for goal, and it's a goal to the Saints.
McLaren second.
Yeah, great pressure football there by St Kilda. They just managed to keep the ball down in their forward line, just putting the Bulldogs under pressure. And just a really desperately needed goal, as you see, just starting to peg their way back into the game. Smith there giving the ball out to Curley. He just couldn't find a teammate.
It's to be noted, Jimmy, that Jason Heatley applied a tackle in there, so he's come onto the ground, obviously.
Saints doing most of the attacking in the third quarter. 9 points the margin. They've chopped it back from 16 at half-time. Elliott. Contest the bounce with Wine, who runs in from the side. The St Kilda player got a right on his shoulder. Gets down to try to dig the ball out subsequently. Can't affect that manoeuvre. It's going to be another ball up.
I wonder what that breeze is like down there. Richard, you're on the boundary. What's the breeze like?
Yeah, Jimmy, it's very similar to what it has been all the game. The flags aren't really blowing that much. Maybe one goal to right of screen.
It seems to be that's where all the goals have been kicked today.
Yes, down the eastern end of the ground. Dimatina for his first disposal of the day. I don't think we'll really give him anything for that. And it's going to be another ball up. So we've had, this will be the third bounce. And it's still a couple of metres only from the centre circle. Let's do it all again. Wine flips it over the back. Francis, good tackle by Liberatore. Ball jarred free from Aussie Jones. Crowd looking for a free kick. Free kicks at half-time were very much heavily weighted in favour of the Western Bulldogs. And,
gee, look at this. This is just a game, isn't it? Who's going to come up with a ball? It's a psychological game.
Oh, yeah, I remember I think it was Leon Shelley one day. We got the ball ripped out of his hands by an opponent, and Neil Danaher showed it up and gave him a hard time. So we were saying the next time we're coming up, we're taking the ball with us.
Hudson, tackled well by Jones. Now Brown's got the kick away. It's going to be a free kick in the meantime, going to St Kilda. He arguably could have played 50 metres there. I guess it was for a throw.
They're bluing the Saints fans because it's 16-7 presently, the free kicks in favour of the Bulldogs.
Hudson kicks to Young.
That's better.
On the forward line, interestingly.
They look a totally different team here in the third quarter.
Lowe needs to mark this and does. Got his big mitts on it. The ball disappears.
Well, a second mark for the day, and certainly one that he really needed to get his hands around. And it just shows that the whole team was starting to lift. And he's about 30 metres out, I'd say, on about a 45-degree angle.
Playing his 259th game, Stewie Lowe. Best and fairest winner. 4 times he's been runner-up in that at the club as well. 2 All-Australian honours. On the goal kicking a few seasons back for the Saints. But only 4 kicks for the day.
Will he kick it?
I was just worried about the hair that he's trying to wipe away from his face. Not much there.
What hair?
Got to keep quiet, Robbo, if I were you.
He'll kick it.
Will he?
I think he's missed.
No, he has missed. It's a bad miss.
And that, it's a goal that they really needed just to stay in touch.
Would have kept the momentum going, wouldn't it? So 6-9 they move to. And the boys 8-5. 45 plays 53. It's 8 points the difference, Rowan Smith.
We've got, we're about halfway through the third term. St Kilda have kicked 2 goals in this third quarter against the Bulldogs' solitary goal. Shane Wakelin out wide to Young. Young into the pocket. Good pass. Nearly the mark there to Heatley. Rowan Smith quickly onto the football, and it's locked up about 40 metres from the St Kilda goal. Didn't last long on the bench. He went to the bench at the start of the third term, Jason Heatley, with Barry Hall, but quickly back onto the full forward line. Scotty Wind out wide to West. He couldn't break away. Underneath all that is Stuart Lowe trying to barge his way through. And what's going to happen here? The umpire quickly onto the scene, and he will bounce.
On that, Robbo, with taking people on off the ground, it's got to be tough on players' confidence, particularly if you're full forward coming on and off the ground. It can't do you much good. Very difficult, but I guess you've got to get into it as quickly as you possibly can. Dimatina, he's probably a good example. He's struggling to get possession. Well done, Tony Francis. Here, this will be goal of the day, won't it? If he gets it, no, right across the face. Bounces away from Heatley and Todd Curley for a throw-in. Yeah, he got onto his feet very quick there with the ball, and I suppose he didn't really have an option of crossing the ball. Had to go for a goal. Just wasn't able to. I think you really need to sort of be kicking those banana check side type kicks. Luke Darcy looking for a chance to get onto the ground. Thompson, not really an effective hand pass. Dimatina, Burke and Johnson. And just having a little bit of a to-do there, Brad Johnson. It looks as though he's trying to win some sort of a psychological battle there over Nathan Burke. And if you win that over Nathan Burke, you've done pretty well, because he's a tough customer physically and mentally. Low, Dimatina, still hemmed in, tackled by Brown, spills to West, over the top, that was good play. Powell wider still to Cameron. Bulldogs will clear from half back.
Cameron just off the edge of the square. Darcy back onto the ground too, and he's taken the mark at half forward. Just stepped off the interchange gates, and there he is. He replaced, I think it was Nathan Brown.
Yeah, Grant just telling him to slow down, steady, go back, have your kick.
Hasn't scored a goal today, hasn't scored anything today.
He won't have a problem with the distance, but he's directly in front. He'll be kicking from probably just inside 50.
Well, if the breeze is worth anything at all, you'd be right, I think, Jim, the problem with the distance, but had been kicked from there before. Be a handy one for the Bulldogs. 49 metres out, he's got the distance. Accuracy, I don't know. Drifted away to the near side, I think it has, so one behind. Kicked by Luke Darcy.
I just think he went in a little bit close to the man on the mark there. And the ball just sort of floating a little bit too high. Drifted off to the right.
It's the Young kick in, as he so often does. He was down on the forward line about 5 minutes back.
Peter, you'd feel in the game, the way it's just been toing and froing, that St Kilda need to be in front at three-quarter time if they're to have any chance.
Zilla nearly run down by Hudson. Brown, Dimatina's tackle effective. Zilla, has he hacked it out of bounds? No, he hasn't. Ball still in play. Rebounds to Cameron off the left. Young underneath it. Cook from behind. Punched away by Hudson. Winmar couldn't get a clean handle on it. Traianides, quick hand pass. The Saints desperate to try to get it out of there. Grant! Miraculously, West. Is it long enough? No, it wasn't. Dimatina squares the ball, finds Martin in front of goal. Maybe too far out. Same position as the kick was taken before, but that's beautifully delivered to Johnson. And Johnson marks about 45 metres out. Well, in basketball terminology, I guess you're still sort of three-point distance, aren't you?
Scott West looks like he went to Shepherd there, and I think he's copped a knock. He might even have to go off with the blood rule.
Johnson from about 48 metres. That's not bad. It's going close. It's going close. It's made it. It's a goal. Great kick. Johnson gets his second goal, and a handy one for the Bulldogs.
Very good goal there, where there was a lot of players with the ball. Scott West applying a lovely shepherd, and Johnson there finishing up on the end of it, putting through a beautiful goal. Pretty tough angle.
Very reliable kick, Brad Johnson. Even in field play, he usually gives it to the teammates' advantage. So ninth goal kicked for the Western Bulldogs by Brad Johnson. His second. Hudson has kicked 3, Grant has kicked 2 for St Kilda. 2 goals each to McLaren and Traianides. Again, Robert Harvey just struggling a little bit, and his teammates, Peckett and Zilla, back him up. But Zilla lets himself down, basically kicked it straight to Todd Curley.
Terrible kick there, but I just noticed Elliott's gone to centre forward and I put Stewart low on the ruck.
Zilla running down the ground, no one really to kick to. Boundary throw in. Elliott, little hand pass, missed Harvey. Gathered here by Dimatina. Dimatina into the centre. Marcus taken by Hudson. Transfers play to the members' side. Winmar down the ground. He'd love to beat his own side, wouldn't he, Nicky Winmar, playing in the Bulldog colours. Matthew Young, left foot kick. Traianides can't get there. Now a contest. The handball came out. Young, well done by Leon Cameron. Well done by Young to get his kick away. Rebounding football now for the Bulldogs. West, his kick across the half-forward line. Getting after the football now low. Good gather by the big fella. Down there at ground level. Mitchell feigned the hand pass, went back inside. Has a look down the ground. Good kick. Mark taken by Brown. Away to Elliott. Elliott further down the ground. Chance for Peckett. Well done, Francis. Must get a goal here. Heatley surely will finish. And he finishes perfectly. A goal to the Saints.
Well, that was their best passenger play of the day.
Well, it was efficient, wasn't it? They didn't miss their target with hand passes or foot passes.
Yeah, and it was a good turnover to start it off with. You know, Lowe picking up that ball off the ground and just getting the ball going forward. You see quick hands all the way down from Mitchell. Took on his player in Manny, then had a bounce, little chip kick down to Brown, little quick handball again forward from Elliott, and as you see here, Francis another handball, and then Heatley not making any mistakes.
Three dual goal kickers now for the Saints: Heatley, McLaren, and Jason Traianides. Next two goals certainly crucial late in the third quarter. The difference back to 9 points. West kicks it to half forward. Grant loses out to Wakeland. Punch to the front. Burke's there. The umpire will ball it up right on the point of the square.
Pete, Aussie Jones knows he's in for a battle. He's got Tony Liberatore breathing right down his neck everywhere he goes.
He won't let him get too far. The titan of the tacklers is Libber. Jeez, he put on a beauty last Sunday at Optus Oval. Absolute gem. The ball up will take place. Well, the Saints have worked hard in this quarter. It's probably been their most productive, but they still haven't hit the lead. They led early, 11 points at quarter time. But the Bulldogs played all over them in the second term. West and Harvey tangle. Burke. Quick kick out of the congestion towards centre wing. Martin, who's got speed to burn, gets taken over the line by Francis. Bustled over the line by the veteran. A throw in next to the interchange gates on centre wing. 7-9 to 9-6 here at Waverley. A grey afternoon, but little or no breeze. Low in front from Wine. Powell missed it. Liberatore doesn't. Quick kick. Oh, good mark, Winmar. The two number ones. A little give to West. West, you'll need to be quick. He is, and he has kicked it behind. Probably could have made more out of that, but it will be another kick, I think.
I was going to say, great play there.
50, this. It is.
Oh,
you're about to say you're kidding.
No, I think he's going to check, isn't he? Just check with the goal umpire to see what the score was.
Well, there was definitely a behind. It wasn't a goal.
Oh, no, the kick's going down the ground.
Okay.
Because the ball didn't go through, he's given the, it was touched before it went through, so he's paying the free kick down the ground.
But how do you differentiate between the kick coming back to where Scott West kicked the ball and why it goes down the ground?
Well, it's supposed to be if the free kick is after the players got rid of the ball, then it's down the ground. If it's as he's kicking it or just before, it's from where he kicked it.
James Cook has the free kick, 5 metres out from goal, and makes no mistake.
So they're a little bit stiff there, I thought, St Kilda. But it's just exactly what the Bulldogs want. They need to now lengthen in their lead just when St Kilda were starting to come back into the game.
Watch it again. Liberatore's kick. Good mark to Winmar. Now here, West kicks the ball. When is he taken by Mitchell? He's pushed in the back almost as he kicked. The umpire must have deemed it after he kicked the ball. So the kick was downfield. Cook subsequently got the goal. Handy one, his second. And again, the quick reply to the Western Bulldogs as Max Hutchton has a few words to him.
Why can't we mic those boys, Peter? That'd be very interesting listening to that little conversation. It'd be fantastic. Robert Harvey away to Zilla. Saints go down the ground through Stephen Zilla. Out in front of, which is a much better kick, gives Heatley the chance. And Heatley's kick chopped off by Rowan Smith.
Good player, Rowan.
Yes, he's very confident, isn't he? And very competent. Kicks the ball.
Last year.
Yes, he's a very good player. And he gets the ball to Croft. Croft kicks it out wide. Low, good mark in front of Scotty Wine. Be careful. He knew that he had to try and restrict Stuart Lowe, but in doing that he would have given away 50 metres. Lowe's kick finishes with McLaren. McLaren approaches 50, then kicks it in short, or it's okay. The mark is taken by Elliott.
I see not a bad move by Timmy Watson to put Lowe into the ruck. Just to put a bit more pressure on Scott Wind, who's probably not as mobile. And now with Elliott going to centre forward, he's now got an opportunity to peg a goal back.
Just given Lowe a few possessions too, hasn't it? Yep. He was a little quiet in the first half as we see Elliott go for goal. Good kick. He's kicked the goal. So Elliott gets his first goal for the match. And the Saints fans, they're happy. They reckon they're up against it as far as the umpiring decisions are concerned. They trail on the scoreboard 57-66. The margin for the Bullies, 9 points.
But you're right there, Robbo, when you mentioned about Lowe. He's picked up his work rate in this quarter. It's four possessions, 2 marks, and set up a goal there for the Saints.
Tim Elliott gets his first goal, and St Kilda, well, they're hanging on like a dog with a bone. Again, next goal crucial in the context of this match. Dimatina with speed from the circle, kicks to half forward. Darcy's got it. Will he go for a bounce? Doesn't have to. Runs into open goal and gets the quickest of possible replies. Well, it was almost like a training drill, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, how far are you allowed to carry the ball without bouncing?
15 metres.
Well, he took every single metre out of that. It was a great goal for Darcy.
It was interesting, the centre clearance. I mean, it was just too efficient by the Bulldogs. Lowe actually got his hands on the ball.
He got his hands, 2 St Kilda players in front. Darcy just judging it a lot better than his opponents.
13 paces,
yeah.
Jim.
So they're about just over a metre each, aren't they?
Yeah, he's a big boy.
St Kilda 8-9, trail the Bulldogs 11-6, 4 minutes left in the third term. Wind early, Low, now West, wider for Powell. Powell across his right shoulder, and the mark is taken by Hutchton. Stood his ground manfully, Max Hutchton, kicks the ball across the half-back line. Low, trying to run past, kick smothered off the boot. That's the 1%ers that we love to watch. The Bullies at centre-half forward, trying to keep it alive. Still trying hard. Nathan Burke gets it out to Matthew Young, and St Kilda may get clear of their half-back line. Peckett spins away from Scotty West. Brilliant football by Peckett through the middle of Waverley. He goes down the ground and puts it on the chest of Jason Heatley. And another promising forward move for St Kilda. A chance for a goal through Heatley.
Yeah, much better play. They're going a little bit more direct as well, St Kilda there, with Peckett just streaming down. But Lowe, gee, he was a bit lucky. He turned back inside, playing on without really having a look down the ground to see what was up there. And Chris Grant making a terrific block.
Well, so far in this quarter, St Kilda have kicked 4 goals, and so have the Bulldogs. Heatley to bring them a little closer, and he kicks accurately.
Well, that was a terrific play there for St Kilda, and they're just staying in touch in the game. The Bulldogs could have easily have broken away. They just kicked a goal, and the Saints just replying there, and it's just what they need. They've got to get back in, and as you said before, try and level the scores by 3/4 time.
Again, they brought the ball from the half-back line, resulting in a goal. So a couple of good forward thrusts in this term. Right on the chest of Heatley, who started the quarter incidentally on the bench. Back to the centre, 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, which has certainly been the most spectacular goal-wise. Scotty Wine, the former Brownlow medalist, kicks to half forward. Oh, Hutchton lost sight of it. Young didn't, luckily for St Kilda. Shrugs off Winmar. Effective handball. Ziller gets ridden into the ground by Cook. Marking contest on centre wing. Elliott couldn't complete it. Oh, that'll be a free kick. Too high.
A bit high there on Dimittina.
Now plays on. Squares it. Johnson. Ramiro also was in line for that. Up to Martin. Arguably the quickest player on the Bulldogs list. Outside 50. Long kick by Martin into the goal square. Winmar nearly. It'll be a rush behind. Will it? Yes, it will.
I tell you, I thought it should have been a free kick there against Chris Grant. He just threw Wakeman out of the way. And I think if that had been the other way off, and umpires are quickly, you'll see here, he just throws Wakeman out of the way. Winmar dropped the mark, which he nearly took.
Peckett on to Heatley. What's he doing down there? We asked the question. Mitchell gets on his bike pretty quickly. Brown says go long, go direct. He does. Oh, gee, Marnie in front. He's got a free kick anyway against McLaren.
You've got to do better when you're out in the open like that, kicking the ball to the forwards.
Cameron, who kicks okay with either foot onto the left. Up to Wine. Scotty Wine looks for somebody going past it. He finds Dimittina, who's got speed to burn. Clear of Ziller. Terrible kick. Burke got a fingernail to it. Grant outnumbered by about 11-1. Wakeland squares the ball up to Ziller. Ziller on the boundary line. Again, Saints with the numbers. Stewie Lowe.
Stuart Lowe, handball over the top. Good running support provided by Thompson. Dimittina's had 8 possessions in this quarter since coming off the bench. Lowe and Thompson. It's going to break down. Scotty West. Stuart Lowe slipping over. It'll go bouncing back. Brad Johnson will carry it. Loves to carry the footy. Handball away to Dimittina. Possession number 9 for the quarter. Leon Cameron towards half forward. Cook couldn't take the mark. It'll go bouncing back. All the way down the ground now. Must use the ball, Matthew Young. He does. Towards half forward. Tim Elliott. Croft gets back, tries to keep his footing. Not all that successful. Rowan Smith gathers. Hand pass back to Marnie. Really lost the ball in flight there. Gives the hand pass away. Elliott asked to play on.
Holding, it was a free kick.
Holding Marnie, was it?
For Marnie, holding Marnie. I tell you, there's a player who's playing well today, and I'm sure Collingwood would love to have a player like that with them at the moment.
He had 9 possessions in the second quarter, and he's coming up for kick number 4 in the third quarter. Goes across the full-back line and finds Danny Southern.
Southern just up from the left back pocket. Oh, what a turnover. Thompson in front of West takes the mark. In the last few moments of the third quarter, this could be crucial. 10 points is the margin. The Bulldogs led by 16 at half-time. He's given it off. The Saints got time to get a goal. Kick comes to Mitchell. Punch away by Marnie. Ziller's got it. Have a shot, son. 25 metres out. He has kicked it. Less than a kick in it.
And have a listen to the crowd here. They are right behind St Kilda as they've just kicked another goal, which is bringing them up ever so close to the Bulldogs, 69-73, only 4 points in it now. And that was after about 4 or 5 different turnovers from both teams. Eventually St Kilda through Trinitas were able to get it inside. Mitchell should have taken that mark, put his hands out, but Ziller pounced on it, steadied on his right, put it straight through the middle.
Just 8 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Anxious looks from both coaches' boxes. Is there time for another goal? Can the Saints hit the front before the bell? Low. West. Harvey's tackle ineffective. Garlic. They need to take a mark. Sirens coming. No. There it is.
It's just what St Kilda wanted.
Job from Chris Grant too, but to no effect. So St Kilda's quarter, after the Bulldogs had taken the points in the second term, and the Saints took the points in the first quarter. Well, the bottom line of all that is we're going to be set for a thriller in the final quarter. 10-9-69 St Kilda. A 6-goal quarter from them. Still trailing the Bulldogs 11-7-73. So the margin is just 4 points. Final quarter from Waverley, just 4 points the margin. The Bulldogs in front, going to what so far in the match has been the scoring end. That's the eastern end here of Waverley. Wine onto West. They combine so well. Grant didn't get the bounce that he wanted. Darcy needs somebody going past for the little pass. Couldn't find anybody. And might have given away a free kick. No, the ball shuffled out the front. Peckett's got it now. giving them a lot of run out of their defensive areas. Justin Peckett now tries to sell the dummy, effective. Marnie takes the mark in front of Mitchell.
Again, Marnie very, very strong on the back line, taking plenty of marks, and always seems to be in the right spot at the right time.
Johnson making a lead for him. Will he bring it across the ground? No, he won't. This is Johnson. Now Croft. The Martina says go a little bit longer. Walton in front, kicked a goal late in the first quarter. Well, they're all looking for holding the ball. Let's check the Bulldogs bench. Richard.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Simon Garlick, James Cook, Michael Martin and Tony Liberatore.
33,500 here this afternoon for this match. It's a little bit more. Burke having his helmet rubbed into the Waverley turf. 13th season, playing his 252nd game, Nathan Burke. So ball up low, gets front position, hits it to Young, couldn't handle it. Wine, a quick kick. The two number ones, Winmar and Peckett are there. So too is Hudson, who's played particularly well.
Well done.
Burke, and that's okay. He marks in front of Ramiro.
So he had to be okay. He had a man right on him, and he was inside 50.
In the words of one of our fellow commentators, Jimmy, was centimetre perfect. And so was that kick by Nathan Burke for Shane Wakeland. He's at right half forward, goes in towards the centre back position. That's a free kick, surely. Tony Francis made it look worse than it was, but it certainly was illegal.
A little bit undisciplined too. Like he could have just let him. Yeah, I suppose he did.
Look,
he did take a good dive there. An Oscar maybe.
Well, the kick is finished with Trianides. And you would think that 19 free kicks to 8 at three-quarter time, if the Saints can get the favour of the umpires, which it usually does level out. Harvey,
smart.
Well done.
Smart.
Beautiful vision, but Young has missed.
Gee, that was just great play there by Harvey. Very smart. He was going to kick for goal. Knew he was under pressure, saw a free man. It just, I don't know how he kicked. It was a bit of a Gaelic kick there. He turned the ball down with his hand and got it on an angle and just chipped it across. Beautiful kick.
He's a player with magnificent vision all over the field.
But Young should have finished that off. That's the sort of goal that would have put St Kilda in front and really put the Bulldogs under a lot of pressure.
Well, you're right. It would have put them in front. They trail by 3 points. Very early in the last quarter, Rowan Smith goes short and finds Ramiro.
Gee, those kicks have to be accurate. That one was Jose Ramiro, who spent a lot of time on the bench today. Third in the best and fairest a couple of times for the Bulldogs. Danny Southern, he's at left half back. Bulldogs finding it a lot more difficult to run the ball out of defence than the Saints. Stewie Lowe has the sit from behind, couldn't complete it. Wind in front takes the mark.
Well done.
Gets the ball away onto Powell. Powell's kick to half forward. Darcy has it punched away from him. Good long clearing dash by Ryan. Ryan's kick up towards centre wing. He's found McLaren, gets a rotten bounce. Oh, a little bit of soccer work there. That was okay. McLaren up the half forward and Walden got the bump ball. Brown was there. He'll be keen to get into it. Walton kicks to half forward. Curley missed it. Jones, Brown it was, goes at goal and kicks it. Saints in front.
Well, they're the lucky breaks that certainly come your way with persistence. A couple of times the kicks coming off shins, little toe pokes, and finishing with St Kilda players. Yeah,
particularly the St Kilda there, just being in front for the crumb. As you'll see here, you're right, it's hitting the deck. It's a bit scrappy. Walton gets the ball, and
again here.
Yeah, beautiful play. Brown just picking up that crumb and putting it straight through the middle.
Well, the Western Bulldogs, for the second time within 6 days, are confronted with a very, very tough task now. They trail in this match after controlling it. Advantage is paid. The kick by Walton in towards the full forward position. Heatley tries to feed it out. Mitchell's kick smothered. Mitchell still missed everything. Hit the behind post.
Out of bounds on the full.
On the full.
It looks like they're going to bring James Cook back on the ground.
Rowan Smith to Johnson. Johnson to Ramiro. The ball bounces away from that player. Thompson gathers as Ramiro slips over. This is the player that we thought should have been on the ground. Just a little player who is a crummer, Tony Brown. Already kicked a goal to put the Saints in front. And that kick there, slightly astray, out of bounds in the left forward pocket.
I don't think he picked the right option there. He was gone too deep in the pocket. I think he, from where he was, either give it off short or else put it across into the middle, where a lot more dangerous than, about 10-15 metres out from the goals.
Lowe doing the ruck work up against Scotty Wine. Wine powerful, big strong man. Dimatina to run away from Harvey. Handball to Ramiro. Oh, Harvey's chopped it off. In towards half forward. Brown's got to be in it. Rowan Smith leaves it for Johnson. Johnson assesses, delivers the ball down the ground. Awkward bouncing ball. Shane Wakeland gathers. Away to Zilla. Matthew Young transfers play wider still. Hudson nearly run down by Grant. Gets the kick away. Out wide it goes to McLaren. He might have heard a whistle. Decides to keep going. Right on with it. Ball with Walton. He's well tackled by Croft. Must be penalised for holding the ball.
What a great tackle from Croft.
He was running blind then, boys. He's run straight into Matthew Croft then.
Wrapped him up like a bear, didn't he?
It's a beautiful tackle.
Johnson, left centre wing for the Bulldogs, who trail. They led at half-time, but the Saints have steadily pegged them back and hitting the front early in this final quarter. Winmar and Peckett. Who's got the free kick? I think it's Peckett's. It's against Winmar. Peckett will take it at right half-back for the Saints. He's been pretty good today. The Saints leading by 3 points. Bulldogs down in a thriller last week at Optus Oval. Can they get up today in what is another one? Elliott in front. He looks for the free kick. Not according to the umpire. Dimatina had a good third quarter. Puts it high. Oh, Walton, good mark. Beat two of them. Brown and Johnson.
Really had to hold that one, Pete, from behind. Then instead of going for the punch, really had to take that mark.
He did. And what a specky it was. Wakeland's kick to right half forward. Southern takes his opponent out, takes the ball out, and that'll be a throw-in. Right in front of our commentary box, 14 minutes to go in the match. It's a thriller at Waverley. Saints won the last encounter out here last year in round 14 by 15 points. Lowe does battle, try and ease. Out the front, Walton again. Good effort, long bomb. Marking contest, Curley has to punch from behind, a juggle. That's nearly a mark if he grabs this. Now he gets on his bike. Well played, son. Curley out wide, looks for Brown, who's just come back onto the ground. Brown has a bounce. He can have a couple more. Brown at right half back, measuring his options. Now kicks up towards West at half forward. West takes the mark.
Well done by Nathan Brown. Held onto the football long enough to find a player on his own. Winmar tries to get rid of Peckett. Not successful. Justin Peckett gets the ball back to Zilla. Zilla quickly across his left shoulder. Out to where it's 2-on-1. Walton couldn't take it this time. Chris Grant gathers. Tries to get past. Handball. Well gathered by Garlick. Steps away from Young and then kicks in towards centre foot. Good kick. Ooh. Mark taken by Powell. Away from Justin Peckett. Stephen Powell the chance to put the Bulldogs back in front.
Again, we're seeing the play being turned over quite a few times, but here I thought that Walton, when you're behind, he was a bit lucky before he took that mark, but he should have punched to the boundary if you're not going to take the mark, and it just gave the Bulldogs another chance.
And he's been taken from the ground, replaced by Ozzie Jones, and Brown is off, replaced by Martin for the Bulldogs.
And as soon as Ozzie Jones came on, Libba jumped up, so he's probably coming on too shortly.
Well, this is Stephen Powell for the Western Bulldogs. He'll be kicking from about 50 metres, maybe just inside. Take a good kick to score. It's a good hit the post. So they're nearly square there, I think, the ledger, with posters. Stephen Powell, it's his first score for the day.
He's actually playing quite well. The statistics are well up today, like 17 possessions and 8 marks. Playing, pretty good in for this week coming into the side for the Bulldogs.
Francis from Young's kick out. Young has to do the work again after a fumble and does it well. Matthew Young in the left back pocket. Good long kick to centre wing. Bulldogs everywhere. Smith to half forward. Harvey.
He's really starting to lift his game now in this quarter, Harvey.
Back to Young. Now the Saints traditionally today have run it out a lot better. Grant outnumbered, but he had the height. Is that a throw from Wakeland, or is it a tap on to Aussie Jones? The umpire said it was okay. Interesting decision. McLaren, who's got speed to burn, tries to burn off Croft, who gets shepherded out of the contest. Good hand pass. Heatley lays it off to Aussie Jones. He can kick these. Jones misses to the near side.
It's a bit too wide out. He's about 45 out there near the boundary. Although he did kick one from a marking position there last week against the Crows.
Rowan Smith, the difference is 3 points here at Waverley. Well, that's a 45-metre pass. Croft. Now the Bulldogs can run it out. Dimatina takes it from Powell onto Liberatore. Well, Aussie's prediction was right. He was back on. Now Dimatina again. West. Mark or free kick. Hudson tries to go off the ground, and he's got the kick almost in the forward pocket.
Again, you're seeing Cook leading into the pocket again, sort of deep near the boundary, which, not an easy kick from there. We just saw Aussie Jones having a shot from a similar position down the other end. At least I suppose he can go back and take it from a set shot, but I don't know.
Do you reckon that was a mark, Jimmy?
Good question.
Well, on a wet day you might play it.
Well, I don't know whether he controlled it, but again, all you're looking for, Richard, is consistency from the umpires all over the ground all day.
2 goals, 3 he's kicked James Cook. This is no gimme. You'd really shut your eyes, I think. That's his best effort for a long time. He's got the goal. 3-3 now to James Cook.
Well, he did kick it. It was a pretty tough angle. As you saw at that time, he kept the ball nice and low. And that's really now put the Western Bulldogs in front by 3 points.
Well, he got the front posse, didn't he, away from Max Hudson, but Hudson did everything that the defender's supposed to do, tried to put the pressure on and tried to knock the ball away. But in the finish, maybe a little questionable. The mark paid to Cook, and he kicked a goal. So the umpire back in the centre. Ramiro, handball back. Powell again. Quick kick by Stephen Powell towards half forward. Chris Grant running with the flight of the ball. Winmar left it behind. Young just slips off the side of his boot ever so slightly. Chance for Ramiro. Get rid of it quickly. Just has to adjust after coming off the bench the pace of the game. Grant, left foot kick by Chris Grant all the way to the goal line. Cook provides the contest once again. Hudson leaves it on this occasion for Martin. Martin, no one to kick to. Still has the foot. He must get penalised. Now he's going to get free kick, is he? No.
Let's play on.
Liberatore, the umpiring there, very ordinary. It's out of bounds.
I don't even think it was out of bounds.
Well, he's got to be tackled. Obviously, the umpire ruled he wasn't tackled sufficiently.
But how long is he allowed to run and hold the ball for?
He's run about 20 metres with it.
And then in the finish, it should have been a free kick to Martin for being leg.
Correct.
Mitchell, still Mitchell, Burt, Harvey, ball held up for the Bulldogs, Scotty West, Ramiro, left behind by Trionides, hacked out of there by Hudson, chance for Danny Southern, down by Francis. Francis harassed by Garlick, dragged back in by Francis over the top. Mitchell, bounce about 35 metres from the Bulldog goal. They lead by 3 points to the Bulldogs.
So we've got a really great game on our hands here, and if obviously the boys must have been watching last night, because if we have any repeat of that, it'll go right to the wire.
Harassed by Garlick.
Sorry?
Harassed by Garlick. Not today. Well, here he is, into an open goal. He's kicked it. Garlick harassing the Saints. Boy, he really burnt them off there. That's his second goal, and what a valuable one it was. No play on words with that kick. 13-8 to 11-11.
Bit of a Kevin Bartlett about that. He just sort of, everyone's standing around the pack and he's gone. Beautiful tap there by Scott Wynn.
Oh, he came from nowhere, didn't he?
Just bounced beautifully up into Garlick's hands, and he just chipped it straight over the top, straight through the middle. Beautiful goal.
He's done well for the Bulldogs since crossing over.
Concerned Tim Watson in the coach's box as the difference is again out to 9 points in favour of the Bulldogs. A thriller here at Waverley, low into the ruck to contest with Wine. Won by St Kilda. Mitchell's kick. Thompson gets rid of Marnie, perhaps temporarily. Another kick by Thompson. Up towards full forward. Bulldogs defence equal to the occasion. Curley punches it clear, and the ball out of bounds in the right forward pocket for the Saints.
Well, this is going to be a pretty important throw in here. I think St Kilda really need a reply, and as you can see, they're just trying to open up their forward line there and probably try and hit it out the back.
Elliott doing the ruck work. Matthew Croft for the Bulldogs. Just outside the 50-metre region.
And everyone here is man on man. There's no free men anywhere. Often you see the ruckman dropping back or a centre-half back getting free, but not under these circumstances when it's so close.
Stuart Lowe trying to get the front posse. Beaten for it. Wine should get a free kick. Lowe a little high there in his attempt to try and get at the footy.
And not very disciplined. Like when you're playing in the ruck, and off my experience, sometimes when you're caught behind, you know, you're tempted to pull the player out of the way.
How strong is Scott Wine?
Oh, very, yeah, big shoulders on him. Same with Stewie Lowe, they're both big fellas.
Yeah, they are too, yep. Well, that's a free kick against Winmar. I think he jumped too early, didn't he? And just looked quite a blatant. He got rid of Damien Ryan too early, and that kick goes into the pocket. It's gathered here by Mitchell. Gee, this will be interesting. This will be very interesting. Have a look at this.
Like that.
Oh, look at that.
Loving that. That is a sensational goal for Mitchell.
Well, I think that footy fans all over Australia don't mind the number of goals kicked as long as you get a pretty close contest. And as a matter of fact, the lower the scores, the closer the contest, the more they're enthralled.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But look, he was right on the boundary there, and this is his first goal. But what a great one again. Gee, straight through.
Terrific kick by Mitchell. His first goal, and the Saints back to within 3 points once again.
The turnover when Winmar gave away the free kick. Some Kilda runner, or the Bulldogs runner out there at the moment. We'll see what they do. Mitchell kicked the goal, gets decked. Dimitina's got him. Well, nearly looks for the free kick. There is none there.
Pete, you mentioned the free kick against Nicky Winmar. I think the way the umpire paid the decision is paid holding the man against Simon Garlick.
Oh, that's interesting. This was a... Winmar took off before nominations. So it got into the back.
The runner's just gone out to Hudson, and he's someone that really needs to lift for the Bulldogs in the forward line.
West handballs effectively in the end to Martin. Harris by McLaren. Zilla the chance ahead of Hudson. His first half today was better than his second. Hudson goes off the ground. Ramiro and Burke. West tried to give it to Martin, couldn't do so. Hand pass didn't quite find its target. Some Kilda defenders come from everywhere to tie it up just outside 50. Left half forward. Francis the last to get up with the footy.
Good play there by Francis just to bring the ball to ground, because they were away there with West and Footscray, and he just intercepted that.
Bulldogs leading by 3 points. It's a thriller at Waverley. Wine does well. Francis in the road though. Runs into trouble. Gets out of trouble. The veteran kicks to the outer side. There's no one there. The ball stops. Winmar and Peckett. Peckett gets there first. Winmar, was he held? No, not according to the umpire. Harvey around Dimitina.
A lovely play there by Harvey.
Good mark.
Good mark. Ryan Smith a little bit late on McLaren. Southern from behind. Bulldogs defence under pressure here again. Croft tried to get the ball clear. They will through Cameron. Shepherd provided Cameron straight down the ground. Grant tries to get rid of an opponent. Lowe is there. Flips the ball up to Harvey. The umpire says keep going. They do. Barry Hall back onto the ground. A little give. Francis again. Mitchell. Can he make it 2 for the quarter and put his side in front? He can! What a finish from Gavin Mitchell!
Well, Gavin Mitchell, a little bit like a Jet Farmer, where, you know, they mightn't do a whole lot for a long time, but then they pop up and they kick the goals when it's most counted. And as you see here, it's Gavin Mitchell getting away again. And not
what about Harvey's little lifted kick there? It was a beauty, wasn't it?
Yeah, under pressure, a little nicely balanced. Francis again in the thick of it.
Yep.
And as you see there, Mitchell, he could have probably ran in with a couple of bounces. Didn't need to. Put it straight through to put them in front.
Well, Tony Francis in the middle of the game was a little quiet. He's built up 20 possessions, and a little pass there he received from Robert Harvey, gave it to Mitchell. The goal kicked by the Saints small player. Peckett, in goes Liberatore. The ball at half forward for the Western Bulldogs. They trail on the scoreboard by 3 points. There's plenty of time left, 6.5 minutes to be exact.
And this is really where these centre bounces and bounce around the ground are so important. Who
Scotty
can get
Wine
it out?
tries to get it to the back. Hudson throws it onto his left foot. Up towards full forward. Brad Johnson. Left foot snap by Johnson. Goes across the face. Hudson sees it safely over for a boundary throw in right forward pocket for the Bulldogs.
Probably a better result for them, Robbo, than a behind.
Well, I'll tell you now, if St Kilda to win this game, they've got to try and nullify Scott Wynn in the centre bounces. He's getting his hand to everything, even these throw-ups.
Chance for the Bulldogs. Johnson usually kicks these. Makes no mistake with that one either. He drills it. The boys are back in front. He's kicked 3.
Interesting there, they nearly double teamed. Scotland was just held out, and I think it was Cook that came over to try and knock it over the back, keep it into open play. That's exactly where you want the ball if you're on the forward line.
Cook, yes, he was. He's almost a shepherd there from low to keep his opponent out.
How good is this for Johnson? Just stepped around Matthew Young, just straight through the middle. Beautiful.
Actually, he's a very good player, Brad Johnson. A couple of years ago, I think he got a game in the Victorian team over in Adelaide and played well.
He came to Ireland.
Yep.
All-Australian team.
Elliot off and Ryan on for St Kilda as we come back to the centre. Wine. Bulldogs just with their noses in front. Winmar marks in front of Peckett. That's been a good duel. Probably honours with Peckett today, though.
And Wine again getting the ball out too easy.
So Nicky Winmar against his old club. Cook trying to make a lead. Winmar kicks it long. That's a huge roast, and there he is. He's got it. No, he hasn't. Trianides. Low. Time to steady. Around Garlic. Winmar again. Peckett in front. Winmar's got it on right centre wing. A chance for the Bullies to come back into attack.
Cannot believe that Stuart Lowe would have kicked the ball. He had to kick it straight to him. Under the not much pressure. And now Johnson again going for goal number 4. Brad Johnson. I think he's got it. He's got 4. No, it's hit the post.
So he's just going back to the James Cook one where he took the mark and it was spoiled. I reckon he held that longer than he did the one before where he was paid the mark.
That would have been a different umpire.
Tim Watson barking instructions down the line. Not much you can do now. You really have to hope that all the disciplines that you've put in place during training nights and practice drills, etc. Liberatore, the gather.
There we go.
In short, you just mark it down, don't you, with Paul Hudson? You just mark it down. You get sick and tired of it, I know, but he kicks goals. He is just, I would say, the best kick for goal in the competition.
Yep, well, he got the message from the runner, as I was saying about 5 minutes ago, saying that, listen, we need you to put your hand up, and he's done it. Beautiful goal. Left foot
given by Libba.
Right
Hudson just inside 50. Didn't try to kick it too high. Accurately through. Poor Hudson has now got 4. The same tally as last week. Danger time for the Saints. They need 2 goals to get up and win it. Wine was up on the shoulder according to the umpire. Free kicks in Kilda. Stewie Lowe, the recipient.
Well, this is where it's the teams who can get the ball out of the centre.
Lowe.
Make all the difference.
It's a call to play on. Heatley.
Oh,
strong grab. Curley, I guess, did everything he could. And Heatley has a chance to get the quickest of possible replies. He's kicked 3 so far. There's not much the coaches can do. They can bite their nails.
This is a really good mark.
That's
under pressure.
grab.
And he's well able to kick from this distance.
On the goal kicking twice since he came over from West Coast. He's about 48 metres out.
Looks good.
No trouble to Jason Heatley. He's got the goal. 4 goals to Heatley, the Saints leading goal scorer today.
Okay, Peter, 4 minutes to left. Who wins?
Well, I picked the Bullies earlier, so I'm going to stick with them.
What about you, Jim?
Oh, the Bullies are usually a good finishing team, but I showed it last week against Carlton. They didn't quite get up, but came back. But look.
What do you think, Richard?
I actually picked the Saints by 6 points before the game, so they could go either way, boys. Probably the Bullies at this stage.
Gee, it is a terrific contest.
I'd like to see the Saints win, though.
Well, they're both pretty desperate going into this match. They'd won only one game each. Liberatore kicks it quickly, high out towards the wing. Punched away for the Saints by Zilla. Gathered by Garlick. Fairly well ineffectual kick. Wind and low. Wind made the football his aim. Got it down to Garlick. Garlick gets a better kick away this time in the direction of Grant. Back goes Matthew Young. Still there James Cook to try and keep it alive. Shane Wakeland goes in over the top and locks it up. Western Bulldogs by 4 points. We've got 3.5 minutes left and it's well within scoring distance for the Bulldogs.
This will be, as you'll see here, all the players behind the ball.
Matthew Young grabs the football, kicked away by Thompson. It'll be marked for the Saints out there by Jones. Jones looks to play on, goes down the line. Barry Hall, he's come off the bench, getting an important possession. Looks to play on, kicked away by McLaren, gathered by Marnie, well confronted by Jones, and the ball locked up, and it's now in St Kilda's attacking half, about 2 kicks from their goal with under 3 minutes left.
Well, you might say the next goal could win it for either side.
Well, that's another good strong tackle there by Jones. Applied one earlier.
Elliott back onto the ground, wins it. Not accurately enough. Mitchell taken to the ground in the tackle. Ball spills free, but not for very long. (99-95) here at Waverley. The Bulldogs for the second week in succession involved in a thriller. Francis gets nailed, can't get through, and we're going to see another ball up. 33,500 here at Waverley this afternoon for this thriller. The latter stages of the final quarter, 99-95 in favour of the Western Bulldogs. They went down by a couple of points at Optus Oval last week. Can they hang on to this one against St Kilda?
This is where players just got to play in front. Just never know when that quick kick comes out of the pack.
Brown has kicked the goal already. Burke, did he get taken high? Still Burke. He's hatching it. Laid it like an egg. McLaren. Mitchell. Southern, yes. Oh, timely mark from Daniel.
Oh yeah, very,
Really
very crucial.
Stand down there. Southern, literally, in the last line of defence, gives it off to Cameron.
Cameron's kick is good. Very efficiently on Cameron. Short pass. Precious seconds being soaked up here by Croft. Goes back to Cameron. He's at left half back. Good kick again down the line. Gathered there by Hudson. Prepared to run it over. And it'll be thrown in.
I tell you, that's contentious because obviously they're trying to run the clock down now, the Bulldogs. But, you know, you could have been pinged there for running that ball over the line.
That was red hot.
Centre wing. Boundary throw in. Elliott gets rid of Scotty Wine. Does well. Zilla to Pickett. Back to Harvey. Squeezes a left foot. It'll be marked.
So one in
Tony
front.
Brown must play on. Got to get it down there quickly. Just over a minute left. It's in short. Croft hasn't taken the mark. McLaren lost just absolute track of where the footy was there. He could have nearly taken the mark away from Matthew Croft. And the ball 50 metres from St Kilda's goal. They trail by just 4 points. It will be their last chance. It is within scoring range.
Bulldogs will try and close it down here.
Well, they'd need to, Jimmy. This is a crucial stage of the match. St Kilda have got it. Francis, can he kick the goal? Francis goes! And he has got it! The Saints will get it!
I don't believe this. What a terrific goal. That's sensational. Francis.
Goal of the day.
From the
They will
boundary.
close it up now. And the Saints, you would reckon, should win it from here. There's 30 seconds to go. But this should just about win it for St Kilda.
Gee, it looked like it was going to go and hit the post. It just came back nicely.
Good kick for distance and accuracy, of course. And Tony Francis has been a very good player for St Kilda today.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, St Kilda have got to keep this ball in the centre. They can't let the Bulldogs get a quick kick out.
All the anxiety, Tim, we thought you were totally controlled. He could get excited too. Coming towards St Kilda's forward line. Brown tries to get it out. Garlick away to Ramiro. They've got one chance. Ramiro tried to force it forward. Not clear by Brown. Into the path of Harvey. Harvey, good option. Jones can't break the tackle. Gets the hand pass away. Burke. Short pass to the front of the goals.
Great pass.
Is marked it. Well done by Nathan Burke. So what looked like being a Western Bulldogs victory is going to be a margin in favour of St Kilda of 8 points. If McLaren can kick this goal, it'll be all over here, folks.
Well, the siren, did it go?
So I've got to say,
Time's up.
I guess it's time on being blown as he lines the boy up.
so
And
smart play by Burke to
Yep.
cross it, because if he had a shot and kicked the point, there it is.
Now, he really has to go and kick this goal. Heatley is telling him, concentrate hard, because it's amazing what percentage can do in the finish.
Oh yeah.
And he's kicked the goal. The Saints have won the game.
What a terrific win by the Saints. Gee, they don't get much better than that, do they, Robbo?
Well, I think it's fantastic football, and 35,000 nearly went, wasn't it, Peter, here today? They've been treated to a terrific game of football. St Kilda boys are happy. The Bulldogs boys very disappointed. St Kilda by 8 points in a thriller at Waverley.
16-11, 107 St Kilda. They came from behind. The Bulldogs with 3 minutes to go were in front. Nicky Winmar against his old side today. Well, he'd be a little bit unhappy. The umpire's getting a bit of a serve because St Kilda fans believe they were robbed. In view of the fact the Western Bulldogs got many more free kicks, in the end it didn't matter because St Kilda got up in a thriller here today, 16-11 to 15-9.